Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your girl, Nina Capone.
Yes, sir.
I am cheesing. It's the one and only Respect the Hustle, first of all. But today I got a special guest. My brother from another darkness is in the building, y'all.
Yes, sir. You already know.
It's crazy. So,
Black sheep of the family, put the whitest one in here.
I know that's right. So, Dark, you know we're not gonna waste time. We got a lot to talk about. This is gonna be like the longest hour ever.
Yes.
So,
indeed.
let's get into it. I know I talk about you a lot. I post pictures. People like, well, who that? Who the white boy? You know, I'm like, that's my brother. Like, that's your brother. Yeah, that's my brother. So let's talk about first who you are. Let's do an introduction of Darkness. Who is Darkness? Where did Darkness come from? I mean, not because you hang with me, but where does Darkness come from?
All right, so you already know it's your boy Dark. So Dark came from, you know what I'm saying? Me as a kid, when I started rapping at 11 years old, I'm culture. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it was obviously a play off the skin tone, you know what I'm saying? All that.
Absolutely.
But I got the name, actually was a joke. When I was 14, I used to run with this Dominican kid, couldn't speak a lick of English. And got into, you know, when you make fun of somebody in another language, they understand.
Right.
So he was like, yo, I'm gonna black your eye. He was like, I'm gonna dark your eye. And so we got into it, and then he wound up darking my eye. We was scrapping. So then when I was coming up with a rap name, you know what I'm saying, my man Maul, he was like, yo, just call your name, call yourself Dark, and put the Q on it. And you know what I'm saying? It's all about the Q. So, you know, that's how Dark became. And then Darkness came off that, DARQ RAW. DARQ RAW came from Philly. You know what I'm saying? That was a Philly thing, the Raw thing. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, the labels didn't know what to do with me. Nobody knew what to do with me. So it was Raw. So that's why, you know what I'm saying? That's how I got that. So,
love it.
But that's how Dark came, you know what I'm saying? Definitely been and I've put my life into that name.
So you said running around, running in the streets. Where you from?
I'm from the Bronx. Originally from the Bronx. BX all day. You know what I'm saying? But I moved to Philly when I was 17.
Yes.
Met you.
Met me.
Right?
And we took over the streets.
Facts. HK for life.
Absolutely. So tell me about getting into music, being from New York, being in the Bronx. What was that like?
Crazy. You talk about the 90s, you know what I'm saying? 80s, 90s, growing up in the Bronx. And then it's hip hop, like it's culture, like it's just, you know, all that. Boom, bop, breakdancing, when it was like graffiti, all that.
When
like,
hip hop was hip hop.
Hip hop was hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So then, even moving to Philly at that time, like Philly was the same thing. Like, because what I love about Philly when I moved to Philly is Philly respects real. So you can't be nothing less than
you can't
real.
Be trying to be a rapper. You came in there, you couldn't come in as Malibu's most wanted. Like what ball doing?
AKA Malibu's most wanted. You already know your boy Dust in the building. I actually just put that in this song. So but this is serious. So the fact that I came from the Bronx and then coming to Philly, like people are like, oh, Philly is just as hard as it is, if not harder.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I tell people, for me, business wise in New York, it's easier, but my fan base is built on Philly. Delco, you know what I'm saying? West, Southwest.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? All over the place.
Because we stomped these grounds. You gotta know it.
Facts. Put that work in.
Absolutely. So making that transition from the Bronx to Philly.
All
right, I know you met me, but let's leave me out of it. No,
yeah.
But okay, so you met other rappers, you met other artists in Philly, or
so actually I signed my first contract in Philly. I was 19, New Blood Records. I was on South Street when I was at
New Blood.
Facts, remember New Blood. So I was at Fat Tuesdays illegally. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Shout out to them. And my man was like, he brought me across the street in a cypher. I started battling. One of these two dudes walked by. That's how I met Dan.
I'm about to say that's Dan, right?
Yeah,
oh my
facts,
God.
Facts.
Yeah,
so,
shout out to
you know,
Dan.
That was 99. So at that point, I didn't know how to write a song. I couldn't rap to a beat. It was just spitting. Like it was just, I come from that where it was like you have to battle.
Rap.
Yeah. You have to out rap me. Like, so
Absolutely.
I come from that cloth. So you know, and then through Dan was the one who taught me music theory and then getting
Dan was phenomenal.
Facts as an engineer and all that, beat producer, you know what I'm saying? And then through Lynch and you guys, and then HK happened, and then that was really what took it to another level, because then it was like steel sharp as steel.
Yeah,
and I was in it. You know what I'm saying? Because
so let's stop there for a second. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about being developed, because I felt like you were developed. You was around us. You know, I've been in the game since 92. Probably before then, but 92 officially. And you know, we were kids that did music. Still kids that's doing music, right? How did it feel? Because when you met us, we was a family. You know,
facts.
we were kind of the black sheep of every family. That's how we came together. You joined us, you know, Dan joined us. So how did it feel coming into, because we was gangsters, like we wasn't just we didn't just rap, we taught, we did, we was
it was streets. Different. It was different.
How did that you know help your development?
It was rough when being with Dan in the New Blood situation, that was different because Dan had a vision for me, you know what I'm saying? So when Lynch came, it was actually like because I was already I was already cut from that cloth, you know what I'm saying? So the way Lynch didn't really know what to do with me at that time neither. So it was like a clash, because even Lynch would be like, yo, I don't want you talking about what we do. The music, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, because one thing that we didn't
do that. So it was
that's new music.
It was new music. You know what I'm saying? So I come from that cloth where it was, you don't talk about what you do. You know what I'm saying? In a way, but then it was like, you know, shout out Jimmy Brinks. That's a big part of that story. You know what I'm saying? He came in with a situation.
Shout out to Jimmy Brinks.
So you know what I'm saying? So even seeing him and the way they were promoting him and the way, you know, he had videos when nobody had videos. You know what I'm saying? So like, White Boys came out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It was like, then all of them start coming out. So to be
spitters, not just White Boys. Let's be clear. The spitters, yeah.
But, so for me, it was like Dan was trying to do something musically, but I wanted to spit. So Lynch gave me that, because then it was you, it was Dada, it was Cash. Like then it's, you know what I'm saying? Like we had Philly on smack. There wasn't a corner of Philly we wasn't.
We from when I think that was one of the essence of what we did. We was from everywhere. Like I was from North. You got Cash. You know, we from all over the city. You got West Philly. You got North Philly. You got Uptown. You got Southwest. We all brought it together.
Exactly.
You know
and
what I mean?
And for me, it was different because even with that, like I was still doing the street shit, but and able to do the music. So then and then it was the grind. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't just gonna sit idle. I was never gonna be that artist that waited. Or
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. You know, that's big for me. Where you talk about artists that sit idle, that get comfortable waiting for someone the Dans to do to file their paperwork, to get the song copywritten, to do that. Like, what pushed you to get an understanding of doing that yourself?
So this is the crazy part. When I stepped away in 2016 for personal reasons, you know what I'm saying? And by that time I had already had 3 independent situations. New Blood was my first one. When I walked away, the only part of my catalog that was done correctly was the New Blood section of my catalog. So I stepped away with a 15 year career, and only 6% of my catalog was done correctly.
Wow.
And it wasn't fault of nobody. Like even when I saw my second situation, the Too Much Entertainment, I always had fire. There was never a point in time where I didn't have buzz or hype or momentum, and there was no way in hell at any point. So now that I learned when I came back, it was for me to know, why didn't this get done correctly, or what was the problem, or understanding what this takes. And when it took me 15 months to learn, like literally go in and day by day figure out why didn't I
commend you, because it took me 15 years, maybe 1,500 years. No, you know,
but it's facts. How to get a record reconciled or claimed or encoded, or you know, all these things. But for me, it wasn't that I delegated. It wasn't that I wouldn't have done it. I was filling out every time I did a song. SR form filled out, sent in. You know what I'm saying? Like I did the copyright part. That was easy.
It wasn't getting filed.
I wasn't getting filed. You know what I'm saying? But at what point was my team ever going to be able to sit me down for 6 months so they figured it out? You wasn't going to be able to keep DARQ.
Not.
You can't sit me for 6 months. I got too much shit to do.
We move around.
Yeah, we move around. Like what are we talking about?
Exactly.
So now that I know the administration part and know what it takes, like it's frustrating. You know what I'm saying? Because especially between 2010 and 2016, I probably left $300,000 on the table in publishing money. You know, missed opportunities in sync licensing and not filling out paperwork for every time I did a show in the building, concerts. I was on tour.
So I gotta stop you because I think that's important. And you probably hear me talking about that all the time now, because I know there's a lot of money being left on the table. Facts. As a consultant. My job was not to work with artists. I was trying to get away from this, but here I am, you know, and it's part of the hustle. Me being a kid of artists and a grandkid of artists, you know, I knew these things and assumed that my team knew. I thought when I did my paperwork, y'all was doing y'all paperwork. Me and Dan filled paperwork out.
Dan was thorough with it. Like,
absolutely.
Dan sat down and taught me the process. And even that, like, even on the right, he made sure that I knew, you know what I'm saying? Like, knew how to copyright, and knew how to do this. But even the steps to get the thresholds open. Like
Absolutely.
when you like, for instance, my team, like it's no hit on my team. And I say this because even when I took over and went in and got into my pro and got all my getting them switched over from Dan,
right,
was because he was New Blood Records. So
right,
New Blood Records had to sign off on the next person taking over.
Administration.
That took
Yeah.
That took 2 years. You know what I'm saying? But
Absolutely.
BMI is love BMI, but they do their site's archaic. You know what I mean? It takes them 8 weeks to answer email. By the time they email you back, you forgot what you asked.
Yeah,
you know
you're like, wait a minute, what? Let me look.
And so now, and then it's how you put your name in. Christopher George Williamson. My real name, Christopher Williamson. Like it's done in.
You be getting Chris Williams money.
You know what I'm saying? And then so for me, 6% of my contract, my catalog being done correct, I was still getting decent size checks a year.
Absolutely.
So you're getting these checks, and you're not thinking like that was even worse because I'm like, oh, I'm still getting royalty checks,
and you're not getting even close to the amount because you got to think we're talking mechanicals, performance all
6 ways.
And I think so that's one of the things I think that I wanted to bring you on for episode 1 of season 2,
facts.
Respect the Hustle, because I wanted this show to really kind of go towards educating artists, because you and I made a lot of money in this industry for a long time.
Facts.
Where our counterparts didn't.
Facts.
And not that we gatekeep, because we assume everybody did what we did. This is not something that I hid. I'm just like, I thought you knew. You talk split sheets. I thought you knew the rest.
Yeah, facts. Like it's listen, and I come from that where I got comfortable like on the second part of my career. You know what I'm saying? After New Blood, because I got myself out of New Blood contract 06. I invested in my own album. Studio burnt down. I lost everything in my second album, the Dark Age album. So then I drop an album 03. I don't come out with another one until 2010. Like there was a 7-year gap. At that time, it still didn't hurt me. You couldn't do that right now. Like even the fact that I just took 6 years off and came back, and my numbers are what they are right now. And this time I came back, I wanted to do it all on my own. No budget. No, I want to struggle. I want to be hungry. I want to hustle.
Well,
and so now,
you got what it takes now.
Yeah. But the information is there. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's so
everywhere.
It's so much easier than when we actually came up, because we had different goals. Think about it. We were trying to get a record deal. We were trying to
get label deals.
We were trying to get label deals to go in and get them to first acknowledge us, then recognize our talent, then go ahead and give us that big giant loan, right? So and then so we can pay them back forever.
It's a loan.
It's a loan. Absolutely.
And I've had 4 of them.
You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you not sign your life on the line? I commend the young artists now, because a lot of them just do it on their own. And then the older artists that are actually benefiting, because what I found just in the last 5 years, older artists aren't getting any money.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's creating bitterness.
And it comes from, I never came from the cloth of here, handle it for me. I've always delegated. Like I've always had a team. So I'm blessed by that.
Right.
We've always, whether it be camaraderie between artists or, you know what I mean, a staff of people that believe.
I mean, even with us, we had Lamar. Lamar knew a lot of the back end administrator. I had Dan and Lamar. So
exactly. Absolutely. So in that, it's like artists, even artists are like, here, now you handle it. And that's the way you get robbed. Right there. Yeah. Right there. That is how you get robbed.
That's hip hop 101, how to get robbed. And I honestly think that's one of the things that, artists don't realize. No, you did this to yourself. You didn't get no money because you didn't put any effort in.
None.
And what's the famous saying? I just want to be an artist.
I just want to be an artist.
I just want to be an artist.
And that's that literally, when I got into this, like when I really came back, because I came back to build a company to consult and build art, because I wanted my brothers. If I tell you about the squad that I have now, my new New York squad, the amount of records that they have written for people that like with plaques are being, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
My brothers that produce, like that have produced platinum, and they didn't get the credit because somebody else, like where I could literally, and it's all public knowledge. So it's even worse when I'm looking at a brother and I'm like, bro, I can see the 9 people around you robbed you for everything you have, and you haven't even realized it yet, because you didn't know what to look for.
So So now on a consulting level, I mean, I learned a lot, over the years. And I tell people, this is not something that you can, there's no book, there's no instructions. This is sink or swim type learning, and I know it. I know it now because I spent a lot of time messing it up. I lost a lot of money. I probably got $1 billion education right now because I lost a lot of money. And I got a lot of money, but I lost triple of what I made.
Absolutely. So for me with you, like when I watched you coming up, you had more writing credits than anybody else.
Yep.
So the fact that you had to learn that part of it,
that's the paperwork.
But that's the paperwork because you were a writer, because you were getting people were coming to Nina like, yo, I need you to write these 4 songs.
Dan kept me in there. I done collaborated with everybody thanks to Dan.
So it was like every time I came in, you was doing something, and it was. And then not even counting your own talent, like you was writing your own shit. So it was like even for me, I was doing the same paperwork. Dan had me doing the same paperwork, but there was no understanding of the metadata then. You know what I'm saying? Like or everybody it's the same format. You know what I'm saying? Lynch handed me how to build your own record label book, like in the car. Like, we drove through J Street, and I'm on a hustle. And he was like, yo, he pulls up the thing, and he was like, so listen, everybody in the squad play a role. And he was like, I'm gonna need you to learn this. And he hands me a book, and I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do with this? How to start a record label book? He was like, no, I need you to learn all that. You see all that there, right there.
One thing I can say, that's what HK did. We knew everybody had business. We were Fortune 5. That was part of Fortune 5. Everybody we had a goal. We had a set goal. Everybody needed to start a business.
Yes, facts.
Administer your music, and then teach everybody the piece that
So that was the thing. It was we all had the pieces, right? But it was even now, like that I'm once you learn something, then you master it. Absolutely. Then you can't unlearn it. You can't. But I can't still explain it. Like they made it to the point where once you get it, like you get it, but even teaching it or explaining
it seems like you're gatekeeping and you're not. It's just that it's different for everyone. And this is why I say I can consult you, but I need to sit down, I need to log into your PRO and see exactly where you are
because everybody has pieces.
Everybody.
And it's even for me with my catalog, like songs I did with people, or I go in and I look for them, and I'm like, all right, this person. I'm like, this person doesn't have their shit set up.
Exactly.
I'm like, so the money sits in a black box. That money is only sitting there for 2 years.
Let's talk about the black box.
Let's talk about the black box, because now it's I'm not trying to not give you credit. You know what I'm saying? But now I got to spend my time building it up for you. But if I give you this part and I put your information in, and the money goes nowhere.
Absolutely.
So now it's like, when you're ready, come get your piece. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to explain that to people.
It is. And it and I feel like sometimes, as a writer, just as a writer, forget being an artist for a second, but as a writer and you work with these artists and people say, oh, I want you to write for me. Come on. We go sit in the studio and I put a team together and we write and are creating these songs. These is hits. And you realize they don't know anything about the business. So this is a waste of your time. I'm not getting nothing off of this because you're not getting nothing off of it.
Exactly.
And people, a lot of artists that I've worked with over the years, they're like, those that aren't industry based. Like if the label call me, I'm on my way. If I got to come in a red wagon, I'm on my way. I know the paperwork's being done. But when you're dealing with just regular artists, you find yourself in a stench because a lot of times, okay, this is a hit song. You know a hit song when you write a hit song.
Oh, yeah, facts.
You like, this is a hit. It can do so many things, but this person don't know anything about making it happen.
Facts. So there's a couple, NDAs that still matter, but there was a couple times the label and Conscious-Hawking that used to call me like, yo, come in and write. And I used to love when they called because I got my upfront fee. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be I would go in there for a bop or cadence where, there's some artists that don't want you writing.
Absolutely.
And they're like, well, they want
patterns. Let's talk about that. Because that's huge. What I do, whether I'm doing a hook or cadence. or giving a bop, because a lot of people don't realize when you come in and we actually did a BMI. We went into my PRO BMI. We looking at it. They're like, why his name there? And I'm like, well, explain to me what he was doing in the studio that day, and I can tell you why his name was there.
Facts.
Because giving that credit out. So a lot of people, we're getting behind the scenes, and they're those that are learning don't really understand why everybody in the room is important. If not, you have a closed session. Because everybody that you have in there, they like, yo, you should do it like this. Yo, add this. That's writing credit.
That's credit. That's credit. Or some type of production credit. You're involved in the record of it. You know what I'm saying? So it, you know, a lot of those things don't get documented. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them don't, because a lot of people, they don't care. They just in there for the vibe of the music. Yeah. But people that write, like when you're brought in specifically for that,
I'm getting mine.
Listen, there was so many times I was brought in literally just to sit there for transitional purposes.
Right.
Like where it'd be like, Doc, give me this, and I give them full word, like
or even that, you know what? Slow that joint down. Add this to it. I mean, come on. I've done that literally probably 100 sessions with Dan. I forget the name of the group. They were Muslim. They were you know what I'm talking about. I'm on one of their songs and doing the hook, but I was there for cadence and writing to give them that an arrangement. So, but you know what song
arrangement's crazy. Our arrangement game, that's what Lynch gave me. That Lynch gave me, like Dan gave me music theory. Rest in peace, Lynch, HK for life. You know what I'm saying? But Lynch gave me that how to switch
cadence, because you know we and him can jump over bars like crazy.
Facts. And that's where that becomes, you know what I'm saying, even like the 4-bar switches and this, that. But even back then, I didn't know all of that mattered. You know what I'm saying? Like that all came into now where I learned, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, you know, I have 3 songs on the radio. Now, my first song that hits radios, Fly Away, rest in peace, Amy Davis. And not only am I not on hip hop radio stations, I'm now on Bridge of Tunnel music. You know what I'm saying? That's what Dan taught me, how to write music. That's gonna be everywhere. Big outside, records. Big records. So I got that. I came from that cloth. Like, and even now that I'm back where now I'm doing the Tommy Egan project. So that's what I'm working on right now. Tommy Egan, because now I don't care no more. Like gloves is off. Like I'm now everything that I couldn't talk about, that everybody was like, nah, it's the dark chill, because that's what you live. Not, you know what I'm saying? I live that. So now I'm gonna talk about it. Like now it's time to, but now it's a different approach. So with the business side of it, it matters. And it's so difficult because it's not the fun part. There's nothing fun. There's nothing fun about it. There's nothing.
No, you might as well be at my desk.
Like there's no beautiful side of this. There's nothing exciting about it. But it's
how you get paid. It's your time. I think somebody said it's a timesheet. It's your timesheet. Fill out your timesheet. Montana, shout out to Montana Black. We were talking about this on the
Black. That's my guy. Hood stock forever. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They don't even know about my hood stock yet, right? But we talked about that the other day on his podcast. And you know, we were saying what is music administration? It's your timesheet.
But Montana's probably one of the only ones at that time that was outside of us that was doing it the right way.
Absolutely,
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like his street cred, like he's been in that. But he was uptown for real.
He was uptown.
So, you know,
definitely
uptown. He was definitely putting artists on and educating. Even at that age.
Absolutely.
So like he put me on from some of my first festivals. I'm in North Philly, only white boy out there.
Yeah,
like,
that's it. We didn't drag you everywhere.
Facts. So for me, that's what matters now though, is it's hard. And it's even hard to sell artists. Like, when I see an artist that I fuck with, underground or independent, and they like, I got new music coming out, and I'm like excited about it, and then I go and look, and I'm like, I'm not excited.
No,
because I know they're getting
you're not even going to get no damn money from it.
They're not getting nothing.
That's where I'm at now.
And it's like
it makes you. It's cringing. It's definitely cringe, because it's like, yo, you know, you can get, when artists be like, yo, I got a show, I want you to come through my show, and it's at this location. And I'm like, okay, that's a bar. You are. I ran bars and clubs. My family owned bars and clubs. Why do you think I did every show there? So because I know their license, and I can put that in my.
And people don't know to take your set list, get it signed by the promoter, get it signed by a bartender.
Boom.
Somebody in the building needs to acknowledge that you there.
That's it.
Do it because
say that again. People need to understand. Anywhere that you do a show, have your set list, get it signed by an affiliate of the venue,
not the promoter. Not the person that's, and I come from that in New York. So when I left Philly, I went back to New York in 2007. I hit the New York circuit. Crazy. I was 4 shows a week. This place.
I was looking at you like he just went crazy out there.
Every show, and so that's the thing. And so now here's another thing. I would, for my set list, have somebody sign it. I would hand it to somebody, and that's as far as it went.
That's it.
And it wouldn't. It
right.
Didn't
and
get
you like,
filed.
I didn't know how to.
I didn't know how to
because
get to
you
that.
had just enough information, and this is why I was.
I knew what I was doing. I knew what
you
to
knew.
do.
I had to do this. But what next?
Yep. So even with Live Nation, shout out Live Nation, when I was doing the MGK and opening up for Wu-Tang and Mobb Deep and Kidding, they would hand me my shit at the end. You know what I'm saying? My check, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's a check. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting 100, 200 people in the venue. So, and now they would hand my set list signed, and I'm like, oh, I had a stack of them. I'm like, what do I do with these?
Right.
And I'm like, what? And they're like, yo, you're supposed to send them in. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm supposed to? They're like, that's a check. That's like $225 per joint. Like,
those are performance.
And then, so they're learning that part, like
performance royalties. And I think that's there's a huge gap in that. Like, people say, oh, I got my BMI check, but I'm like, but you've been performing everywhere. I did tours, as you know, and I never signed a record deal, never had a record deal. I've been doing this my whole entire life without a record deal because it's more money on the other side. You get your money quick, to be honest. And you're talking 6 different places that you get 6. Just imagine every quarter you getting 6 checks.
Facts. That's crazy.
That's what we all should be getting.
All should be getting. And the first couple years through that, it takes time for them to roll and line up. Because that's what sucks too. Because like the way they design it for you to fail. You know what I'm saying? Going in and claiming your pages.
Design it for you not to know, because that black box get tagged.
Facts. and it's that black box is real. Like, when I think about $300,000 of my personal money being inside of a black box and knowing that somebody else ate off that,
absolutely,
at a point in time in my career when I had the buzz and hype, where that really could have done something for me independently. Like, that's and the thing about it was, I heard a rapper say it about me on a radio station while I was on my hiatus.
Wow.
And they were like, the thing I love and respect about DARQ, but he only had up to a certain point. Like, if he was really focused, he would have been this. And it wasn't.
But just
like,
imagine,
I couldn't be mad.
No, because you would be.
Because I would be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
I think that any artist back then would have listened, would have been further. I literally, I'm guilty of not educating my peers because I assumed that everybody knew what I knew. I didn't find that, oh, you know way more than them. I didn't know that. I was like really oblivious to saying, wait, so y'all not getting paid? Like, it's been times I brought you to shows and said, DARQ, come perform. I mean, we performed on real stages. So it's like, we go perform. You have to do your due diligence. I ain't gonna do yours and mine and it. Like, no, we got to do the work, and I think that's one of the things, far as industries, radio as a whole. I feel like if I'm not educating, I held back long enough. I didn't, speak up, and it is what it is. But, now's the time. I'm like, I have the platform to share this information. I have the friends. We felt together. You may have given up 300,000, but I was what, 10 or 11? I probably gave a good $1 or $2 million in the black box.
And that's just what I know of. You know what I'm saying? That's just the situation.
Oh, I mean, it's songs I heard on the radio, and I'm not going to name those particular songs, but I know a super duper hit that I definitely wrote that I had never heard, and someone called me and was like, yo, this your song. And I'm listening like, that is my song.
I've heard so many of our songs.
Wow.
Set pieces taken and reused.
Crazy. Our metaphors, our punchlines, stuff that only we said. And
it's it's
mind-boggling. It's sad.
It really is. It really is. And that's because we come from that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how many opportunities I have from contracts I had signed where I wasn't allowed to talk about things. Like, and this person, that person. And I loved, back then, I always come from the cloth of just give me my money up front. I don't care. I'm not worried about the headache. You know,
not even realizing even money up front, you still get money on the back end. Like, I still got so much money I should be getting, but there was
so many major artists that were so afraid to give you the credit.
Absolutely.
Because they don't want you to have that.
Because they didn't want you to have that go. They didn't want to have that ghostwriter feel or he wrote my album and all that kind of stuff. And I think that was one of the things that was crazy for me, because a lot of people would want the song, but then when they try to change it.
Yeah.
It's like, who's changing it up? Because
I'm still getting a bop. I'm still getting a bop. I'm still getting a word. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, exactly. Like, and I come from that where it was, I've written for so many people that even when I got to a point where like I was had to be somewhere every day. Where people were in the studio with me and be like, change this, and he'd be like, I was writing for him. Like, come on, stop it.
Right.
Stop it.
Right.
Like, and it doesn't matter even if you were. Put the paperwork. I don't give a fuck.
You ain't gotta tell nobody. I ain't saying the longer like my check.
Listen, we were talking about get the money. Like get the money.
I always tell people that if you're in my session and we're writing, one, I do closed sessions. If you know, I've always done mainly closed sessions, or I invited the people there because again, in my head, I'm low. I know they vibe, they coming in a session, they going to put their stuff out there. But in my head, I'm like, okay, but they going to go do their paperwork. So we going to create these records, but they going to do their paperwork. I found out most people that I work with, you know, because I may be backtracking and going through, oh, dang, we did this song. The songs can come out. Songs are forever.
Forever.
You know, just because you did it in 1989 don't mean that it's not a bop in 2024.
So listen, so I come back. My catalog's not out. You know what I'm saying? So I come back. I started putting my catalog out in October. I've got 3 sync and license placements this year alone.
Nice.
All 3 songs from 07, 09 that were written.
See how crazy that is.
And I was like, oh, let's just put them out because I just started putting everything out because the way to do shit, there's a blueprint to it, right? There's a blueprint to it. You get distribution, your PRO, but it doesn't mean that it's going to work that way for every single person.
Exactly.
So the only reason I got it open was because I got the 25,000 listeners on Spotify, opened up Song Trust, and then it was like clockwork. Beep, 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 beep,
so let's
it opened up everything.
Let's talk about that because a lot of people don't know how that works. So the purpose of Spotify. So I think we all been using Spotify wrong.
Yes, everybody's been using Spotify wrong.
And Spotify's in trouble. We in trouble. Everybody in trouble at this point because we've been using it wrong. I know you and I both now. We like, oh yeah, like you was like, you should do this, and I'm showing you like I got on it, done, like already started.
I'm like,
where were you 8 months ago?
Because it's like I don't believe narrative. You know what I'm saying? You can't sell me a narrative. So when I go online, and there's no money in streams. There's no money in streams. There's no money in this. There's no money in rap. You're not selling me on that. There's not money in a single stream.
Right.
That is correct. 1,000%.
Absolutely.
In a single stream.
Because you're talking about a quarter of a cent.
If you're talking about it's nothing, it's not worth it.
Right.
When you times it by 6, and then your song's on the radio, and then it's going and doing what it's supposed to be doing. Now the stream is accumulated. It's compounded.
Like you said, my station is a licensed station. When I say send me your music, I'll put you on. When you hit me like, yo,
as soon as that Apple feature came out, and I was like, it was like radio spins from Apple Music. It was like Apple. This only goes to Apple Music certified radio stations.
Apple Music certified radio stations. Say
and
that again.
In the streets, I hit my sister. Like, yo,
we are an Apple certified radio station, and I think that's one of the things that even all of these different podcasts and radio stations are coming up with. You gotta be certified so you can actually offer. Because I don't charge. I'm just like, if you got a bop, get it to me. If it's trash, then I'm gonna take it off in 30 days. I'm gonna be real. Like, you're not gonna get so many stuff. I can't take it. I listen to my station. So, but you gonna get them 30 days.
And it was crazy. The song, it was like, and it was a song that I wasn't even expecting. I was like, oh shit, like, we're gonna throw this in.
It hit rotation.
With Spotify, you gotta study, and that's the thing. I need to know why now. Now it's why. Like, why?
Right.
Why is this? Why is that? What do they mean by graveyard? Or what do they mean by this? Or what's a light switch? Like your radio. Everybody's gets a Spotify radio station. Press play on your radio station. It plays. Oh, they want you supporting other people's music.
They want you to support.
It shows that Nina. If I play DARQ Radio and your song comes up, it'll show you that you were played on DARQ Radio. Exactly. Now you're like, oh well, why is DARQ Radio playing me?
Right.
Now I'm gonna go check him. Oh well, he's showing love. Like,
and that's the effect of the algorithm that sits inside of Spotify.
Absolutely.
And this is why we wasn't using it right.
Exactly. So dead accounts. Like I had a lot of artists that aren't active. So I would have their names next to them. You click their name and it goes to a dead account. You don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm not even putting your name on a song if you're an inactive artist.
Right.
Any inactivity cannot be attached to your page.
No.
And it's literally like, and I've seen, like I had a song, Heartbreak Hotel, shout out my man Bugs Hammy all day. So we did a song. What I love about the game now is there's no rules. You know what I'm saying? There's no rules whatsoever.
Yeah.
You want to keep them short and sweet. You know what I'm saying? So now I get to play. I got to have fun.
Yes.
Like I go in and spit a 24-bar burst, put a little hook on it, or
I got one ready come out. Yeah, I got like, one no hook. It's just hook. Me and Montana, we just rapping for no reason, just going.
So now you want those type joints. Now when you put out, if I got a song with 3 verse songs, 5 minutes long, now I'm doing versions of it. I take off the 3rd verse, and then I put a version with just me and the first person on it, or me and the second.
You can make 6 songs out of that. They want to see that creativity.
It's just about chopping it up and making it work. So, and then constantly posting. What I hate to see with artists now is artists will post an album or post a single, and then nothing. They know they didn't roll it out right. Didn't promote it whatsoever, and then I take it the fuck down and reload. Like nobody knows. Crazy thing. Like, there's no rules. Like,
why do artists think that one post is enough, or a song gets old? There's no such thing as an old song.
There's no such thing as an old song. I make timeless music. That's how I feel. I make real music. You make real music.
I'm spitting, just playing around, going through my catalog the other day, and I'm online spitting bars from the early 2000s, 99. And people like, "Damn, you back at it?" Not yet, but
when I hit you and you were like, "Yeah, I'm not really doing this," I'm like, I just saw like 8 posts.
Yeah, because that's how we got heavy catalogs. Like I can literally release a song every day, starting today to all the way up and through next year.
Yeah, same.
Just dropping. Now the thing is, some of them are old songs. You may have heard them, but the world had nobody else have.
And it's the worst. I can't stand when people say, "Oh, this is an old song."
No such thing.
Why are you saying that? Why you just let the whole world know that it's an old song and nobody even cares?
It's not even an old song
because there's so much. Like my brother D Dave, like when I was gone, he came back. Because I told him I went in 2012, I was CD baby. I was grandfathered in. I was CD baby from 2002. I was one of the first artists with a digital distribution contract.
Right.
So now, my first album, I did 140,000 in royalties. We sold 10,000 back in Trunk Eternal Darkness. That was Dan. It was my worst album ever. Like it was horrible.
I know I be playing stuff from it, don't I?
And I'm like, dude, but I pushed that thing like it was the biggest thing on the earth. I had the car, remember, Dark on the windshield.
Yes, yeah.
Records all over with.
New Blood. That's the song I was playing. You was like, if you don't take that song down, I was like, that's my jam.
In fact, dude, I paid money to have it removed. Like I was like, yeah, y'all gotta remove that off that. I paid money to get that removed. Like I found it on Amazon, the CD, the actual CD for $147. Somebody was selling for. I said, wow. We find out this shit sells for $147.
But that's the thing, you don't know where you're. Like I didn't know I was big over in the UK. I'm huge over in the UK. I got people like, well, what can I get you? Can I get more music? And I'm like, y'all in there for this music? I gotta go to work.
I gotta go to work. And so now there's no rules to it. And Spotify, like even though like we'll see what happens with Spotify because there's you hear all the reports and everything else. 2 years it might not be the thing. Right now it's the industry standard.
Absolutely.
And they needed to do something to monetize that. So my brother D-Day, he came back to me because I told him this was the way the industry should be. Because now there's no rules.
If we had this back then.
And I remember when people were saying that back then, like that they were, had the Instagram and the MySpaces and the face.
I was the queen of MySpace. I was the queen of MySpace.
My HTML game was insane.
What?
Like, and that's really MySpace was really how I got started because I remember you were allowed to put like 4 songs in a little player, and I remember I loaded 4 songs up, and dude, they had like 1 million plays.
That's coming to Instagram soon, right?
What?
The song you can play a song in. It's got to be over.
Instagram's is the new Facebook's done now. Like, you do everything on Instagram.
Everything.
But it's so crazy because even that. He told me, he was like, yo, you can come out everything that you always said about the game and the way it was and da-da-da.
Here we are.
So once I understood it, but you can't tell people that. You know what I'm saying? Like when I see dead songs, like if your song's under 1,000, you're not getting paid for it on Spotify.
Right.
You're not getting paid for it on Apple.
I didn't understand it because I was ignoring Spotify. I'm not gonna lie. Like actually it's like around the time that I start actually paying attention and start creating my playlist and putting one for Industries Radio and then adding the artists that I'm working with on there. By the time you told me, I'm like, duh, now. Where was you 8 months ago? Now I figured it out.
But even for that, like, I'll be sitting there driving. I'll be just driving. I'm like, light bulb.
When I get home,
I have 1,000 light bulb moments a day. Like,
but the thing is, I tell people, even if it's you got a song, you put a song out, you have a smart player at home. I go in and be like, Alexa, play this song, or listen, let it run. Turn it, Alexa, turn volume down. Yeah. And let that joint play all day.
Like, you have to kick it in to your own way. And I think for us though, it was different for us, especially out of our squad.
Right.
We had a fan base as a unit.
Oh, absolutely.
And we had a fan base individually.
And I think that's what kept us strong.
So that's what saves my ass. You know what I'm saying? Because I've had a couple people, like when I came back, like it was mad love, like, oh, Dark's back. And then, but if you really look at it, I've been going 6 years. I stepped away, and all of y'all been out here.
Yeah.
And my numbers is.
But that's the purpose of having your individuality, even if you're with a crew or gang or whatever.
Absolutely.
So even though we were a squad, and you see us show up, you like, damn, it's K in the building, because every single person on our squad was spitters. So individually, we can still do our own thing.
Facts.
You can't.
We all have records.
We all had records. Like, we can all go bar for bar. We was all competitive.
Dude, the way Lynch used to put us on a show, and he put the squad on, and then we'd be back to back with each other, and have like 45 minutes. They're like, they just took over.
All
this one's on this song, and this one's on this one. This one's jumping off.
That's the beauty. He individuality. Like, I feel like we got away from that. I see a lot of people now, they in these squads and these groups or whatever, but no one has that individual. You don't even know who this person is. I know old group stage, you don't even know who the third person.
Facts.
Like, oh, you was with them. Oh, okay. Because you know who all of us are. You know each individual. Oh yeah, she got this sound, he got this sound, he got this. And having that individuality, understanding that you got to go get your own fan base, because you're not going to get my fan base. I might bring you in, but you're not getting my fan base. Right. So you need to build your own.
Exactly. And that's so for me, like my New York squad. Like, shout out my brother Fisher. He's the one that taught me that when I came back, I knew he understood it. Like, I was like, yo, and I told him, I said, listen, you deserve to be paid for this information. I can't afford to pay you this information. Give me the blueprint.
Right.
Laid out for me. Last April, he laid it out. He was like, do this, and this. He didn't tell me how, and I went in a rabbit hole.
But you did the work.
A rabbit hole.
You did what so many artists fail to do. One of the reasons why I don't waste my time with certain people, because I feel like if you come into this office, you should be ready. You should not come in here without a pen and pad in your hand already. I mean, you should be able to take everything that I tell you, and you don't expect me to do it for you. So many people don't understand the form. I'm a consultant, meaning I did the homework. I did the research. I got the resources. I'm going to give them to you. That's what your appointment is for. It's not for you. People say, oh, will you do a free consultation? No, because when you leave here, you're going to have the jewels. But
even how you said, like, the first thing is, I need your passwords.
That's it.
I need to get it. You know how many people are like, I don't want to get out of like, hold
like
on.
You ain't even doing that. Then you get in and see they ain't doing nothing with it. What you protecting it for?
Like, but that's the real thing. It takes a lot of trust to understand, and most artists that I find that I'm consulting with now, or even artists that are in my media circle, have been so jaded. I was jaded. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, listen, I'm jaded. The industry jaded me. Like, the fact that I left, I came back with this purpose. You know what I'm saying? Was to put my catalog and leave my mark on the world, to make sure my kids get everything. You know
Absolutely.
Like, I'm getting old.
It's the new life insurance policy.
It is. Every record is, as long as it has ISRC attached to it, that is a revenue source. That is a source of income. That is a passive source of income at all given times.
And so many people talk about passive income, and that they have already. They just not monetizing it.
Not monetizing.
Like, monetize what you already do.
What you already own. Dude, this is your work. This is your life's work.
It's business.
But it's business. And we always understood that. We were taught that we were very business minded. But we were taught.
We were a Fortune 500 company. We had that mindset back then, and I love that. You know, I always say that's what not only prompted me to do the business and my work. I mean, when we sat there and came up with this whole, you know, because I always had a business. He like, man, we gonna all have Fortune 500s, and I'm like, whatever, man. That was the goal. Yeah. That was the goal. It was real life.
It was real life. That was real life. But even now though, when I told you, when I went into my PRO, when I came back, and you know, shout out to Much Entertainment, them trying to get me out of the New Blood in the BMI, like I had 37 records sitting at 13 years pending. 13 years, my records sat there pending, and they still sat there once I started uploading the new ones. Then it was like I had to distro them. Then I got Sound Exchange. Then I claimed them. Then I got the algorithm going. I had to jump around. So and once I got my publishing admin, that's when everything. It was like.
That's what people don't understand. The steps gotta be done. Like it's so many people who leave out steps.
Yes.
Like you can write one song and that song could be doing numbers. But if you don't do all of the steps, you're not going to get the money from your part.
And it doesn't mean that, anybody could tell you the steps to do it. I know that I heard 6 different ways, and the way that worked for me isn't the way that it's not. It might
not even be able to do that for a person that you're working with, because
I can figure it out now. I can figure it out
and
quick.
Each is customized. It's customized per artist, per the way that it has to get done for them.
Or whatever was set up before by somebody else that didn't fully know.
Oh, that's always fun.
Cleanup is worse than cleanup. I'd rather set up a new artist all day long.
All day. Because once you got to go in and because it's so, you talk about using your brain, you got to figure out, okay, so you got this, when I got this person here, but I see them here, they filed, why they didn't put you on here? They collected this. Like, is this your publisher? And they like, no, I've never heard of that company. Then we got to go find out who owns the publishing company. I'm like, do you know this name? Oh, yeah, that's such and such. So what did he do? Oh, he wasn't even there.
Facts. It was
so he knew that you didn't do your paperwork, and he went.
And that's what I'm saying. It is such public knowledge that, and there's literally. Then I found out that there's literally people that sit around sniping.
Yes,
they will snipe.
Let's talk about the snipers. I love the snipers because I'm thinking about becoming a sniper. And
I would never do it. It's against my code.
Oh well, like, I'm a gangster. Come holler at you, girl.
It's against my code. It's when
people don't know that that's real. I tell people all the time. Listen, they're snipers. What is a sniper? A person who watch you make a song, hang around you, smile in your face, and then collect 200, not 100, but 200%
on everything you did. Because you not smart, because you don't know.
They like, and they like, what you mean? I'm like, they sitting there
waiting. So when I see like it, I'm like, when I found out that was a thing, like somebody put me on it with like, yo, Dark, like, and listen, I love this dude to the death. You know what I'm saying? To each his own. But the fact that he told me,
no crooked people.
Like when he was like, well, listen, he literally sat down like the devil on my shoulder and was like, well, Doc, listen, now that you know what I'm saying, but you gotta be easy what you be saying on internet, because I'll be posting like on Facebook.
You know what I do. We're telling all the secrets.
I'm telling,
they're gonna cut me off eventually.
Chill with all that. You know what I'm saying? Now that you know, and you can be sniping, like people got paid for that, like. You basically hold their shit hostage. Like, I'm not holding nobody's shit.
It blew my mind that's a thing. You add yourself to catalogs of stuff. And I was in New York chilling. New York is big time for it. Like everybody in New York, I think, do. Shout out to New York. But being a writer and then going back and forth to New York so much to write in these majors. It's snipers in the majors that know you don't know what you're doing. And you could be so dope. You could be a phenomenal artist. It's snipers. I'm not going to say their names because I know a lot of them. And the thing is, this is what they do. They come in, they smile, they shake your hand, and they collect 200% of your publishing because you don't know to add that. You don't have the ability to go sign in and say, okay, my thing is, artists start a publishing company. Why don't you own a publishing company? I own my Mistress Publishing.
So I didn't do that neither. I started my LLC. Had no reason.
We getting you there. We getting there.
I forgot why. I don't know why I was so decided.
And I mean, I did it wrong. I have it, but I had to not take writers' credit. So this is one of the things, and just take full publishing because that's another thing. And I'm going to put that out there. Because I'm with ASCAP and BMI, my publishing company is with ASCAP. My writers is with BMI. You cannot do both. So you have to choose. They say pick your poison. Pick your poison when you're doing this. I love my publishing because you definitely get more in publishing. You're talking 200%. So I do take honorary publishing royalty sometimes and say hell with everything else. But that's one of the things that we don't do. To set up your publishing company and collect publishing yourself, because unless you're with a major. They're going to take publishing anyway. They're going to take it. But if you're not, guess what? Publishing is not being claimed.
Absolutely.
Except for the snipers. If you have a catalog of any, I challenge you, log in and find out who your publisher is.
Listen, when I seen some weirdo stuff, like I seen weirdo stuff on my stuff, so I already knew I was sniped. I was sniped many songs. Well, I had to go in and when you realize you're sniped, I love BMI. Like I was picking poison. BMI is my poison. ASCAP, I'm more for ASCAP. I just been with BMI so long that now that I figured out, how to work BMI.
Yes.
Now that I figured out, now I understand the poison. Now I understand it's a process. Yes. And I spent probably 5 months out of my 15 learning BMI. Like, why is this? So, well, putting people that make videos. Oh my video directors were sniped. Like, where the
they get sniped more than anybody,
because nobody knows to go in and claim. Like, dude, my boy that does CNC, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say his name, but I had to spin back on him. Like, yo, we gotta get you right because somebody's claiming on your whole brand. Like,
how you feel when you see that your friends, right, are being sniped, right? It's like you want to help them, but it's like the frustration.
The worst is I've have a couple people in my media circle that have people around them that they love and trust. Like, I couldn't even say it where I'm like, the 9 people around you are getting you, and I can't even. And if I tell you, and when I tried, you was like, oh, you don't get offensive. And like, they tried, like. And I was like, oh, okay. Now you get to hold that. You know what I'm saying? But it hurts me. But when I see them people, I let them know I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you getting my man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, be careful who you delegate to.
That's why my friendship circle is so small and always has been. But and it's like I kept it like that for a reason. One, I always had a lot of knowledge when I came in. I only had one squad. Period. So. Just coming into that squad, and then the information that we share, Lynch being from Cali. Yeah. So, he had connections where he was from. And then, because everybody thought, oh, he from Southwest. Yeah, he lived in Southwest. We all came here, migrated from somewhere, right? Facts. But, just to realize, people will shice the hell out of you, like really bad. And it be the ones you least expect. The guy with the arm over your shoulder, like, this my man.
Yeah.
This my man, and you like, and I'm looking at these dudes like, that's your man, huh? That's your man, huh?
And now, like, even people watching this, you know what I'm saying? Do your homework, because they get that everything that we're saying is still alien.
Yeah,
it's alien. They're not gonna understand.
Well, and it's the thing is, you can't. And I would love to. I mean, I have a business technology firm, of course, so I learned all of this stuff in real time, real fast because BMI turns into a tech platform. If you know it, right?
Yep, they finally got a tech.
Oh my God, it took them forever, right? Shout out to BMI. Thank you.
It's not so archaic now.
So one of the things I tell artists now, personally, just from my own experiences, if you're with BMI, download the app and keep it on your phone. So you don't even need a split sheet. Do your stuff in real time. Do it in real time. Put it in there, because you don't have to submit. Just go in, put all your information in. What's your real name? What's your BMI under? Which who you with? Because these are things you need to know.
And people, so shout out my brother Maestro, because like I have a project with him coming out. We're putting up the finishing touches. With his project, I own my 100%. He owns his 100%. I needed to get funds for this particular project to raise for promotion. Like, I didn't have a promotion budget for this particular project. And I was like sitting there one day and I'm like, yo, how the fuck can I, do this with, and I used it like real estate. Like, yo, hey, go 20% of my publisher is yours. I'm going to need $5,000 for blah, 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 blah.
And I got a better way for you.
And I could use it as you could use it for so many things off one song.
Even with that, I work with Sound Royalties. I'm a partner of Sound Royalties. And what I help people do is get that without even giving your publishing, without giving anything away. They have an algorithm. So these are technology-based companies that can actually see what you're doing now. So what you're going to be doing in 5 years. All kinds of projections. Yeah. Bringing up those analytics, understanding and studying the algorithm of these companies that, where you pull your funds from, right? And give you an advance on that. Imagine getting an advance off of what you're going to do next year.
I've seen a couple of sites like that. I haven't gone to dig into them.
I've been working with them for a while, so I trust them, but some of them I kind of a little wary about. But Sound Royalties. If you need to connect with them, I have a direct person. I can put anybody down. Definitely holler at me.
Facts.
She will talk to you, walk you through the process. I don't care if you just think you got stuff out there. We take the time to look and see, because I think a lot of artists don't realize you can get that advance, and it's not always about giving up publishing or copyrights or giving up your ownership.
The fact that you can, though, you can use your,
it is collateral.
It is collateral.
It's an asset. Every song you write is an asset, and that's the education, I want to make sure that Industries Radio kind of put out there to artists. Industries Radio is connecting DJs with artists, or artists with DJs.
I was so proud of you, sis. Like when it came up in the streets radio, Apple sponsored radio station, I said, "Oh, she's a gangster." I said, "My sister's a gangster."
No doubt.
And I put that shit right on Instagram, like, yo,
I love it. Because that's the part that people, it's one thing to say, "Oh, I got a radio station." I'm so humble, it's ridiculous, because I be forgetting to not be humble for a minute and tell people, like, "Oh no, I'm 100% legit. I am the real thing." I'm connected with these companies, and how important that is for artists, especially independent artists.
Yep.
Like, is your music being spent?
But for me now, like, I spent so many years with probably at least 20 songs in my catalog, steady on rotation in radio. BDS, when I was a thing, the Radio 1, before it was all that Clear Channel. I was on FM radio stations all the time, AM stations all the time. And the fact that I wasn't encoded, just the word encoded, media base, it's free.
And
fill out your form.
Why? Someone said it was hard to send music to me on my station, and I said, why? Because I make you fill out a form and upload it to the form. They don't understand that I'm encoding your song. So because I know for a fact that you're going to send me an MP3
that it's not encoded.
And it's not encoded. I have to
encode it. I sent you my code. I knew all my shit was
encoded. I said, you came right up. I said, okay, my bro got it. Cool. Done. All we got to do is click and bang. But that's the important part. Or send me the link to where you're distributed at, because they encode your music.
But so many people had mentioned that along the way, that, bro, like, you gotta tighten up. Like, I had to go, and I didn't understand. They wasn't explaining it. They was
nobody
just like,
really explains it.
No, but I couldn't explain it. Like, even for me now, I was telling somebody the other day, even though I understand it and I'm mastering the process, to explain it, there's not enough time in the day. There's
so different every time.
I've seen people check out. When you see people check out, when you're talking about,
I'm a consultant full time.
Like this
talking to me, it'd be like
15 seconds in, and they're ready itching at the door, like they're ready to get the hell out.
I gotta go now. I'll holler at you later.
And it's sad, but that's why the record labels were able to get it, and the reason why the artists get paid last.
They don't have that interest in the business side of it, and so many artists lose out on getting money. Like, I try to teach this because I own a radio station. I own a real life radio station. And not to say anybody else isn't. I just know me. I had to go through, I spent a lot of money. Like, I had a DJ, I put the DJ on the station or whatever. And they're like, what do I get out of this? Well, you should be utilizing the platform the way I gave it to you. The access that I gave you, should use it 100%, because Industries Radio platform is a platform. We're ran off algorithms. I'm not literally on there saying, okay, play dark, play this. No, it's an algorithm that says, hey, people like this. I tell people, if I play your song, go in there and hit the thumbs up.
This is why I love the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Like there's definitely parts of, because I still feel it's being developed. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
I definitely think that along the way, the numbers are going to go up. There's too much money involved. They know that artists are still getting the minimal. The Spotify is bulk paying whatever level you are in Spotify, which I already know you're not getting, even at this level, you're not getting more than this amount a month. You know what I'm saying? On this one way. You know what I'm saying? But but what I do like about the algorithm, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you take two drumsticks in a bucket and you play drums in the fucking train station and you record it and you put it out there. The algorithm's gonna give it to the people that want to hear that. It does not matter whether if you make timeless music, if you're a spitter,
you could be trash.
You could be trash.
You could be trash, and that's the thing.
The algorithm's gonna feed you to the people that they belong to. Like for instance, when I finally got Spotify working, I was like, yo, who who you sound like or artists that sound when they put Busta Rhymes, Jadakiss,
Mhm.
SWV. I was like, SWV, I take it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not mad.
And that's the thing. And I had to explain it to somebody. Like, even for your song, I don't know when it's playing. I can go in and look at the analytics and say, oh, okay, this is when he's playing.
Mhm.
But who you're near. When I say I just want to stop for a second and explain what that algorithm means. The algorithm is a learned behavior placing you during the time, because what people don't understand, a real radio station, a station that I have, is a platform. What I built, and I built it myself. So, but what I built is literally an algorithm that says, hey, we're going to match these sounds up to the listeners. So yes, listeners, when you tune in, we know that you're tuning in. It ain't, and people think, oh, well, I'm going to check you out. I know you didn't check me out.
Fact.
I know that you didn't check. You never been to my website. You never did. Trust me, I know. I'm a beast with tech. Like, this is what I do. So, no hard feelings. But if I put your song on a radio station and you don't go play it yourself,
like listen, I didn't know. So I saw it.
Yeah.
It was on every day. That's how I saw it, because I don't know that you played it. I'm not gonna harass you. Like, you my sis. Like,
she said she's gonna look out. Cool.
Gonna look out good.
When you hit me up, I was cracking up. Like, oh,
I was like, oh shit. I was like, and it was funny because it was and added the radio station that they say I get played on, because now I got my publishing admin. So now they have all the record of who's playing me for what. So now I see all the small radio stations, or the ones that aren't like sponsored.
The ones that aren't sponsored, but they're because still, you got to be sponsored
my admin's
now.
still catching it. Send that check, send that my artist, because that's what opens it up. When that threshold is open, your thresholds are open. But when you can actually see that a radio station is supporting you, it makes you want to go on there and support them.
And support them.
Now I have to. That I stop. Now I'm.
And I tell people, one of the biggest things was being a sponsor station. To be sponsored by the majors, and I understand everybody like, oh, I'm independent, but you should still be everywhere. And I think even as an independent radio station, it was important for me to connect with all the majors. Don't ask me how I did it, because that's a whole nother podcast, right?
Absolutely.
But to get with them and say, this is who I am, this is what I built, this is what I have, I'm presenting it, I need you to certify what I have, so that when I play artists, we don't charge artists to be on a station. Now, if I have to encode you and all that, that's an administrative fee, because I got to hire some staff to do that work. But at the same time, I'm never charge an artist. If your stuff was right, you on there, because at the end of the day, we need music to play.
Yes,
we play commercials too. So we,
even that, like, we're the only country that like, so if you play a DARQ song, and there's a commercial right after it, I should be getting paid.
You get paid. You do.
But nah, it's like
it will under certain streaming license. Now I'm umbrella, so
certain ones.
Now let's be clear on that.
Let's be clear on that,
because in the United States, no, it's not mandatory.
It's not
but
mandatory.
It's
overseas.
Overseas, yes.
Yes.
You get part of the commercial that so whoever sponsored, because they kind of sponsor you.
Yeah.
So understanding that is a thing. Now,
but that's a thing,
because we play.
That was a thing.
So I play in 82. We're in 82 countries, right? So we're everywhere. So we were in 66 when I went on looked at analytics. It was like 82, and I'm like, where the hell is 82 countries, right? So I'm like, where are countries that I know? I'm like, they got radios there, right? So as we sit and look, and I'm like, wow, I'm talking. This has been an experience for me to say, okay. So my umbrella is covering all of these different places. So depending on where your listener base is, yes, because we have to follow rules no matter what right? No and that's what the umbrella is for. Fact. Okay. So yes, if you're, and I say, so yeah, we're responsible for it because we're worldwide, we're international. Now, for those who don't go that far, which they're not certified, but they may have a license, but not the right kind of license. Yes. So, I talk about being invited to even get a license. You got to present a platform that makes sense. Exactly. You got to work with algorithms and have all the right technology in place. So yes, that's one of those things. Again, you got to know where to look for. You got to know who to. I
just found out I had to do all this paperwork.
Yeah, I'm going to say, you have to do all that
overseas.
Yes,
totally different
because
setup.
It's a whole different set of paperwork.
And it's
not the same. You can't even collect royalties from over there.
That was 13 months in. that was that rabbit hole. But I'm like, wait, I got to do this all over again.
Music college, right?
But literally, and like, people don't understand. I'll be hours, like days in, like, and
you have to buckle down. I mean, if I was out being a socialite, I would never had been able to transform the information into building a radio station of the caliber that it is. I don't present it that way, and I don't present it that way because I'm not desperate for you, because I am the benefit. Like, I am the benefit. You come over here, trust me, it's going to benefit you. And it's like, I don't want to be overwhelmed, because I do it by myself. I run the station alone. It's a lot of work. You talk about 15 months. I ain't gonna say it took me 3 years to really build it out. And then I do all the tech work too. So it's not like,
and the only way you learn is by making mistakes.
Mistakes is an understatement. Effing it up.
Shout out my brother Luce, because when I started this, he was like, "Dark, listen, take your time. And you're gonna learn." But it was like, why is this open? Or I skipped this step. Or I skipped that. I'm like, oh, that's not important. And then I'm like, oh, that's what that was for.
You can't even move.
Yeah, you can't move. Like, dude, submitting a ticket to get shit changed is like a process. You know what I'm saying? So I tell people, like, listen, I will put all I tell people right away, if I have a song, these people, listen, I'm going to put this in under me. When you're ready, I will help you get to where you got to get to, so you can get, so your money doesn't sit in a black box,
and so that it's right. Because if you start putting the wrong information in, look, if I put a song in and you don't have nothing set up, and I put the song in and you ain't in touch with me no more, guess what? You ain't getting nothing off of that song, because you don't even, you might not even know my real name.
I'm losing half of it just by sitting there. It's sitting there for you to catch.
Exactly. And it's just sitting there. So now half of the check that we came together to build is going into the black box, and Rihanna's getting it. Shout out to Rihanna, Beyonce.
Listen, they get that
Taylor Swift, because she gets a heavy black box.
She gets a heavy black box. That black box money is real. You know what I'm saying?
It's real.
And it's not their fault. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, and it's I think the way they designed it was there could have been an easier way when the powers to be put this whole thing together.
The system was created for people to fail, just like the music itself. The music administration was not for us artists to learn.
It wasn't.
I mean, to build a radio station, I know I'm a
and that's the first thing they say. I just want you to be an artist.
I just want you to be an artist, right? And even with this, nobody's giving me instruction. You know how many? I'm going to New York next week, September, for a meeting. Nobody's telling me anything. Nobody's gonna say, "Oh, you got a station. This is how you properly get commercials," because there's a right way and there's a wrong way. Loading up individual local commercials is not it. It's not what you do. Okay. You know, advertising is a huge, big business. If I did not own an advertising firm before I started the station, the real station, not what y'all seen since 2005, that was me practicing. But what I have today, if I did not understand how to get with the right companies, I wouldn't be a station.
Facts.
Certification out the window. Do you know how many times I have to present my license to even be able to play music by real artists? Like, every conversation, they're like, "Oh, I'm going to need your license."
So when I saw it, I'm telling you, like, yo, sis, I was so proud. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was proud of you. I'm proud of you regardless. Whether I don't care what we're doing. It doesn't matter. But when I was like, oh, sis is right. Just like you said, I put bro got it together. Like, it's right. It matters. Because your conversation at the table changes.
It does.
And so for me, like when I was younger, I had the most opportunities to get signed when I was young. So between 19 and 24, I had the most, because I didn't know. The more that we learned,
say that
because I didn't know. Because I didn't.
They want the artists who don't have the interest in learning those things. No one would have ever, mind you, I knew these things. I knew how to read a contract at 10. So I knew right then and there, you're never going to get a deal.
I don't know how to read a contract, but I know the 5 things to put in a contract.
You know what to look for. Though.
I know it's just,
if you're presented with one, you know.
I know if I put these 5 things in that I was taught, that you listen, it doesn't matter what you read. If you put these 5 things in, the other side is gonna be like, oh, he knows his shit, or
they won't try you.
They won't try you. So I always had those 5 things. So that's why when I won my catalog back, it was because I had those 5 things.
You had those things listed.
And I'm always big on a deal. I've been making deals my whole life. I'm making a deal with you. People don't understand that. Your deal. People bitch about the deal they sign. Listen, you sign that deal, whatever position you're in that moment. Hindsight is 2020. You don't get that back. Exactly. You're gonna sign and you gotta fulfill that deal. And it should not take you long to fulfill that deal.
So let's tap into that, to these deals, because I feel like a lot of people that I know that I came up with in the game signed long 8, 9, 10, 12-year deals with no out, you know. And not only that, the fulfillment was almost impossible because we get older.
Yeah.
You know, I heard of, well, this particular artist I'm thinking of,
So,
they got too old for their demographic.
So I feel like any deal that we get, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I get myself into a situation
Mm-hmm.
where I signed 3 contracts, right? I was always independent. I wanted independence my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted creative control, all that.
Right.
Looking back, hindsight being 2020, I'd give it all up.
Mm-hmm.
They want to give me fucking 10 writers back then when they couldn't sell me on that because I was hip hop. I'm gonna write my own shit.
To the core. I write all my own shit.
Right now, looking back, I'm like, I tell any artist, you get an opportunity to take a deal. I don't care if it's a bad deal, good deal, take the deal. Because see, if I have it, if I take it, and this is what I don't understand. I have a squad. I have many people in my life that do music.
Mm-hmm.
If I take a bad deal and I have to fulfill 5 albums, I'm coming to the squad. Like when we got to knock these,
everybody get a pen.
Everybody get in here. We knocking down. We're gonna be out of here in a month.
Absolutely.
And that's where that comes in because not everybody eats off that.
Everybody.
Now that one person getting the deal, that's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't.
Well, people don't know that structure, and I think that's why I see a Philly group conglomerate that's out of Philly, and they're mad at the leader of that group. I'm not going to name anybody, facts. But they're really pissed off at this person. But it's like everybody should have ate off of his deal. Mm-hmm. Everybody should have been eating off of his deal. When he started his little crew, he should have put everybody on a song. Everybody on a song, everybody eat, and then it's each one, teach one. So now, so now you got so dope on this. Now they're going to pick you up because this song popping. Mm-hmm. So now you're going to go on tour with me. You know how many stages you stood on? I was on tour with everybody major. Everybody. I ain't no deal. I'm like, you want to come? You can come. Come on.
We can hang out.
We can hang out.
Yeah, we can hang out. I got a list.
You gonna rock? You got a song? Let's go. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
it was
that's how it should be. And I feel like right now, I'm looking at people in Philadelphia who are bitter because the person didn't put them on. Be in the studio. Get on the songs. If that's your squad, ain't no way you're doing a song that I like. I don't care if I'm on the remix. That was our thing. Let me remix that joint. Like, all right, you can keep your original, but I got a verse. Yeah, I always call me like, y'all got a verse.
That's what Dan Ellis used to fight about. Like, well, when y'all would do mixtape shit, when we was in the mixtape era, and he'd be like, yo, y'all waste this songs. And I'm like, Dan, let's just take their vocals off and remix because now you can make beats behind. But you know how many Lynch had? You guys had albums and albums of records on instrumentals. Like nowadays, you can make money off them. Back then, you couldn't.
You couldn't even do nothing with them.
Strip them down and sample them and you like nothing goes to waste. You know what I'm saying?
Covers. It's songs that I'm now just putting out that can be considered covers now because it was a rap song back then and I remixed it and did add my own flavor. But right now it's just a cover. It's just me doing it my way. It's a cover song. Exactly.
But now there's outlets for that. You know what I'm saying?
Thank goodness.
It's like, and that's what I'm saying. Now I love the way the game's designed.
Me too.
I do. I enjoy it. Like I'm
excited about it.
What I hate though is that I do look at the independent, like, because I'm definitely an independent person. So I look for independent artists like on any level.
Right.
Start off but I get disappointed when I see the artists that I really think have something or bring something to the table, and the moment they're like new music coming out, and I'm like,
it's like a letdown. It's like, so that takes me to my next question.
And the people that know are also looking at you like,
well, people look at me all the time. That's why my next question is going to go there, because people look like you hang with Nina and your stuff not right. And it ain't Nina's fault for real, because Nina I can do but so much.
Listen, I have plenty of people that
I
know.
How do you hang better with me and not have your stuff right? How are you around me every day and don't
there's a company that puts me on stage that I can't even put anybody on stage with me now. That's they can't spit nothing that's not correct. Like I didn't realize that company was like, listen, you're not touching this stage again ever in your life unless your shit is together. Because it doesn't matter how much, because they were using me. I would put 200 people in a building. Yeah. Because DARQ has a fan base. Yeah. But I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, it was a bad look. But now where it was like, And now I'm trying to utilize that. Like, all right, because my whole squad, we all perform. Like, we not,
we not rappers.
Like we perform.
We are performing artists.
Yeah, we like, I put spectacles on. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same way I approach music. It's the same way I approach a performance. And when I look at the roster, I'm like, all right, this is the headliner. You know what I'm saying? I'm opening for this person, so I'm gonna take songs that I'm gonna hit their
that resonate
with their audience, and I'm gonna try to capitalize off that. And when I look at my squad, and I'm like, they can only be on the songs that I know are done correctly, and that's crazy. When I even look at my own team, I'm like, yo, y'all gotta. And now I got my team like sharp, like stepping up, because how can you be next?
You have to build the people around you. You have to.
And
we had weak links in our team that didn't want everybody to learn. You know, I'm not gonna say no names, but we had that around us, and it caused chaos. As you know, we was not the people to try to leave out. Like, don't lock the door on them because they coming through it. Just know, facts. So I feel like back then, what it was supposed to be, then for versus what it turned out to be. It was really big. Thank God. I mean, because we were all a bunch of people with our own mind. We literally had our own mind, which was crazy because you would think none of us got along, but we got along great. We were just competitive. It'd be war in the studio. It'd be
worse when one of us goes on vacation.
Yeah, because people be like, yo, they'd be like, dang, y'all all get along. No, we beef constantly. What you mean? Everybody beef. Like, I was killing such and such in the morning. Like, wait, what happened?
Let's got another white boy.
Yeah, like what? Who ain't cool? Like. Everything.
He got music videos out. Like, I'm coming to see him.
Is he tight? Can he rap? Like, when Brinks called me, it was like, yo, I was jump on this joint with me, and I was like, oh, all right, can he?
Yeah, facts.
I heard him, but let's
I
see.
was in the studio the first time. It's like, yo, I got salty. I got another white boy. Yo, you better pull this car over.
Like, I'm the only white boy on here.
You better pull this car over right now. Like, it was a thing. You know what I'm saying?
No, it really was. It's like, because we all had our own individual identity within the squad, even though it's so funny because you and Brinks had nothing in common, like at all, except for the skin tone. And it's like, okay, whatever. Facts. But, and that was the beauty of the music.
Him later. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time, there was no other white boy to have it yet. You know what I'm saying? Like my man Luce, the same thing when I went back to New York, like I'm talking 05, 06, like they had videos, music choice, and you know what I'm saying? Like you're on platform, like how
he stepped into a light, and that's why he's coming on the show. We're gonna introduce you all to Frank because he had a platform. He was at a level that I didn't want to walk in. I wrote as a writer in that Facts. Field, being out there with Death Row and Atlanta with, Sam Snead, and shout out to Dr. Dre, Sam Snead, everybody that know my little behind in the industry. But just meeting Brinks and saying, okay, he's industry. He was industry.
He was industry. That
and
100%.
Forget being a writer, an industry writer. He was actually an industry artist, which
was new to us.
We had access to this industry artist. So I think that's what he brought. And he had the organization. He had, and his story crazy as well. But I think that was also a huge asset to the crew.
Facts.
Because we got certain exposure. I mean, he had a different fan base too. He had much wider.
Dude, Lynch pulled. He was like, Doc, I don't know what to do with you half the time. He's like, because they don't want somebody that sounds like, oh, you are culture. He's like, when it comes to this, he's like, when you're industry, he's like, they want that pretty white, like that comes polished, and he's like, you're not that. Like when we
you hood like us, like yo. And it's crazy because I wasn't as hood because I was coming from I'm a kid from the industry. I never even knew the hood until I got in the hood. Like, yo, this is what I'm talking about. My squad was running up.
I told you the day that we was in the car. And he was like, cover girl. And I was like, he was like, yo, he was on the phone. He was like, I got the hottest white boys. I got that. He's like, no, my HK like Fortune 5. And I'm like, and we was talking about Cover Girl. I hadn't met Cover Girl at the time. Like it was right when I hadn't seen her. I kept hearing about him. Right. Like, and then he was like, oh,
shout out to Cover Girl.
Shout out Cover Girl. But he was like, I love that you ride for Nina. And I was like, wow. He's like, cause Nina ride for you the same way. And he's like, but you ain't me Cover Girl yet. And I'm like, what? And I heard Cover Girl spit. I was like, whoa. That's definitely, and then it was like, but both y'all were different, and the same, and it was
had cadence,
and cadence. It was
we stood our ground. You know, like I, somebody was telling me the other day, like, Nina, your style is boss. You always been
that.
The supervisor. You always been the boss. You always been. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
But you was also always the rational, like you were the way you would make it make sense. Like if somebody was pissed off, if I'm pissed off about something, you're like, yo, but Dark, look at that.
Right.
Like, no, I'm not trying to hear none of that. And I'm like, but you right. You know what I'm saying? But you had a way to
voice
put
of reason to get people to understand. Like
we beefed all the time.
The beef was always real. I think the balance would never happen because everybody was at war, but it was a good war.
Well,
Nothing.
It was sharp. It was keep everybody sharp.
It was nobody was going. Everybody was sharp, and I think that was, like, people would say, "Oh, well, cover girl dope." Like, you think I don't listen to her music?
Facts.
She fire.
But for me, it was like, you know me, I was loyal. Like
you like, but Nina, and I used to be like cracking up because I'm like, they my boys, of course. Like, yo, I'm the little sister of the squad. It is what it is.
And then, but Lynch got us all past that, like where you don't have to be always loyal.
He was a connector.
It was connected.
You know, he definitely connected everybody.
Like, no, everybody's gonna play their position, and y'all gonna see how this is gonna work.
Because ain't no I in team. Ain't no I in team. What's our saying? BOS. Was boss of self. And I think, I think we carry that.
True to self.
That's how we carry that, because you only can worry about yourself. I can't, I have a boss mentality, but I wasn't trying to be the boss of everybody. I just was boss of self.
The first time he got booked and he had to do it straight, he was like, you know what you're supposed to do?
That's it. Keep it going.
Like,
yeah. And that's the thing. Yeah.
That was hard. That was always hard though. With him going, like when it was.
That's when me and Brinks got together and did our song. Like literally.
It was definitely hard. Like that when I left back to New York, and then I had to find my own path all over again. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have that comfortability. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it was really weird. Like, because there wasn't a part of the city I couldn't go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
we went everywhere. We literally pull up anywhere we wanted to. And I think that was like, it was dope because like I can go wherever I want, whenever I want. And it just is what it is. Yeah. Yo, what up? Everybody knew you. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew you in the, like, they knew me in the hood. Like, I'm Nina. Like, oh, you Nina Capone, right?
Dark,
like, it is what it is.
I remember being down 50. I was down like 58, 59th Street. And my man, Donnie Boy from GMH, he walked up to me. He's like, yo, you look like my man Dark. And I'm like, I am Dark.
Yeah, you're man Dark. But who are you?
He was like, yo, get what you. I'm like, bro, Donnie Boy, what up? Like, I went to go say what up to him. And he was like, yo, you look like my man Dark. I'm like, I am Dark. I was
about to say hi. But okay.
But that's the love though. Like, that's the difference. Like, and I tell people, New York's my home and Philly's my backyard.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because I get to play. Like, Philly's like my playground. Because even on the street side of things, I can't do what I do in New York, because in New York they run down on you. They're just different.
It's different. I used to say that all the time, like just being in New York for so long. So that was like I had to be there. It was work. But then coming back to Philly is like when I met Montana and them, I was coming off tour. I never forget. I got off the tour bus and went into Champagne's because I never been to an open mic. I was like, yo, they got an open mic. Like, you could just jump on and rap.
He show love just because of.
He shows love, and that's when I never forget. I went into Champagne and met him, and I was like, so hype. He like, yo, you just got off tour. I'm like, oh yeah, the tour bus, pull it off.
Facts.
But I want to rap. Like, can I just like do anything right now? Give me that mic.
When you're on the tours, and
you was with me.
Yeah, I was.
You was with me. I was like, hold up,
I was.
Absolutely.
Because they don't understand that part. Like it becomes not fun. It's not the.
It was work.
None of the shit that when people think that all this shit is glamorous and it's good, it's work. So when you come off those situations, you want to just, it has to be
do
fun.
It your way.
Like, and I tell people that, like, for me, like writing and creating, like I used to hold control. I wanted to control this thing.
Yes.
But before I left, now that I learned the business part and I'm studying, I can't wait to have fun.
Yes.
So now this is so excruciating that my brain, I'm like, nobody in their right mind would want to learn any of this shit.
No.
So now I need to go have fun. So now the music is the easy part when it should have always been the easy part.
Yes.
I used to stress and be like controlling it. And
because we wanted to be the best. We wanted not only just to be the best, but we wanted to get our message across. And I know that was always, for me, it wasn't, people be like, oh, you used to go in on your lyrics and did it. I had to tell y'all my story. Like I had to give it to y'all.
Facts.
And it had to make sense. So, taking pride in how I write. And I know I'm still like that.
And I tell people this too. Like for me, like, so I signed my first deal in 99. Then with my first album 03, but it wasn't until 2008 that I had Darkness hit the the mixtape circuit, and Flyway hit the radio. The people decide what music you want, because once you got something that hits, right, you gotta feed them that,
and you might not even like
and you might even like that joint. That's why there's a song I have called "Oh No" that just got picked up by Sync. Shout out my brother D Dave. I refused to let that song go out in 07. Refused. I knew when I put my catalog out that I was gonna put it out, and I knew it was gonna get picked up,
right?
Because I didn't want it to get picked up then, because I'd have been stuck doing that song.
You're like, this is gonna be my whole image, and I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
But it's real. You have to be able to control that,
because
if it's then if that becomes dated, then that sucks.
Yes.
Like that's
because you like, this is not who I am.
That's not who I am.
I'm a bigger artist, right?
I'm a bigger artist than that. So when it wound up being Darkness and Flyaway, then I was able to build off that. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and and now it's so light. Like it's nothing to the music.
So we didn't cover everything, which is dope. So my next question to you, and I got off track. I know I was gonna start asking it before, but where are you at with, because there's so many artists that need your help, so many artists that need my help, so many artists out here that's stuck. Yes, we're independent. Yes, we stone cold independent, because I wouldn't sign a deal now if you paid me. But what do you? I know I understand why.
Yes.
I don't, because I don't like the artist part, but this ain't about me, so we ain't gonna get into it. But let's talk about what does your future look like, far as I'm going to hit you with this hard as like a gut punch. Starting a record label, because there's none here, or being a manager, having that, be an administrator on a full scale.
So I came back to start Sinister Raw Music Group. That's what I started, Sinister Raw Music Group, and it was basically I signed myself. You know what I'm saying? That was that was gonna happen. I have a catalog, and now I had to learn it right. You know what I'm saying? I came with like 6 artists that I had been watching. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, all right, let me try this. Me putting my catalog out, me having learned, it took a lot longer than I had expected to go in. So I kind of put that on hold right now. If I do a company, I don't know if I'm going to get into the full management. I'll do the administration management.
That's what I was thinking.
So I'm not doing the whole. I'm not worried about.
Because you know what it takes.
I know. I don't care what you do. I don't want to know what. I don't want to be there to watch you because there's nothing.
Anxiety.
Because the thing is,
creates anxiety.
The thing is when you manage artists, you have to have their best interest in them. Always. But they don't know that you know what I'm saying? And so plus there's the age difference. There's the, he once was or has been, or, you know what I'm saying?
I think we get that stigma when we're working with people, not realizing that we're who you should be talking to. I crashed that car already.
Right. So me and Lynch, you say, he's like, listen, dog, we're gonna drive through the potholes. We're not swerving them. We're gonna swerving potholes. Swerving potholes. Drive through them, because you're gonna come out the other side. You're gonna know. You know what I'm saying? There's no part of this that you can't do smoke and mirrors.
No,
I'm king of smoke and mirrors. I can make everything look good.
Right.
But this is the first time in my career where there's actually
no smoke and mirrors. You're right, directly doing the work.
So direct. So now. And now I know, you know what I'm saying? And the conversation changes. So for me, I don't even know. I want to help and I want to develop, but I'm at a point in time where it's the first time I'm also at the table. My business is right. So now I only want to be at the table with people that's ready.
That's ready.
I
think that's what holds me as well.
I think that it for me to I need to be paid. I need to be compensated.
Well, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. And I don't think that most artists won't even pay for studio time or pay to get the records mixed down correctly or pay for a video to get done right. So for artists for it to be worth it for me to do the administration part of it, unless, like I said, I'm still building how I would monetize it. You know what I mean?
Well, you can add yourself as an administrator in the PROs as well.
Absolutely.
So I think a lot of people don't know that, but whoever is doing your administration should be adding themselves as your administrator.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I see a lot of that blank. So for me, right now, I set out to do 1,000 days. I said I'm gonna do this for 1,000 days. I'm back.
I want to see what my catalog does. We're gonna ride this out. I'm less than day 365. So October 30th will be my first year, and my catalog, I've already done 1 million streams in less than since October 30th. I'm so proud of you. Okay. And then with minimal, right. You know what I'm saying? Just fucking with shit, like just tinkering and for me, I think that's. I think that the game is going to change for me over the next months because I got projects coming out that got the music I'm writing right now. I not only superseded when I left, but now I'm at a level where I'm still relevant. You know what I'm saying? And those big stages are coming because once I go, and then it's access.
It's our time.
It's access. Yeah. I am going back on tour. Yeah. I'm waiting for them to announce it. How much time I'm really going to have to work with others. But I have a team in place. You know what I'm saying? Shout out my business partner, Beth. Shout out Red, Sarah. Like, that's my lawyer. You know what I'm saying? I scooped one up. Like, I need you right here. Because now it's
you do need
like,
that.
She's also like, when I'm too hood, you know what I'm saying? Or when I need to sound professional, I'm like, you do the talking. I need you to say this.
And sometimes, you know, I think that representation is everything. I had to learn to talk unhood or unhoodalize myself real quick, and I still fall into this trap because it's like, and the people, you know, on the hood be like, why are you talking like that? Like, I have to talk like this because I represent myself.
It's different.
You can't go into those tables and sound dumb. You can't, because they gonna play in your face, and I don't have time for you to be playing in my face because I know my business. So you know, you think I can go get certified by Apple Music if I'm a moron? Like, no, they look like, little girl, get out of here.
And the thing is, like, how we were talking about the deals, like, this is the first time I stepped out without doing it with no help. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to do it strictly on my, I wanted that hunger. I wanted to be starving. I wanted
it feels good, doesn't
it? It feels good. I wanted no obligation, no attachment. I wanted to be able to do it on my own in this time period where now that I understand, I now understand more now what to do with a deal than what not to do with a deal.
And that's why I understand why you would take a deal
I would take a deal now, because I have the team in place to fulfill all my obligations.
It would make sense.
It would make sense
because you understand the purpose of the loan. It's
exactly.
I call deals mortgages. You know, I have a big giant mortgage, right? But it's a huge asset. If I wanted to do a record label right now, I have the collateral to put up to do it. It's not a problem.
So I would their money would only go for what they are putting out. I still have this over here.
And you know how to negotiate that deal per se. I mean, because you're talking percentage. Where does these percentages go? It's no longer, you know, because I think when we go sit at those tables and we're young and don't know, and you're sitting at a table and they're talking percentages, they talk all around you and they don't mention half of the things that's on the paper.
You can't even understand half of the shit in the paper.
And they give you champagne. They popping bottles. Absolutely. They want to hear you rap. They don't care about you rapping.
They want to get you excited.
They want to get you piped up.
I tell people, don't get excited. When you're excited is when you're the most blinded. You know what I mean?
You're the most vulnerable. Excitement is vulnerable. Yes.
Vulnerability. You're excited, and that's when you're getting got. You're not even seeing it. You know what I'm saying? And it's
so hard, so bad.
And it's like, even for me, and to be that, I get excited. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm like, fuck, I got excited. Like, you can't show it. And I tell people, like, I remember my manager told me when we was looking for my logo, my very first DARQ logo. So I still don't have a DARQ logo because of this story, right?
Oh, gosh.
And my manager was like, listen, we're gonna get companies are gonna design this, we're gonna get this dark shit. She was like, if you see one, I need you to not show no emotion. She was like, I need you to skip past it and be like, yeah, whatever, and be like, you know, send that one over. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like not thinking nothing of it. I've seen 10,000 logos. They bring these companies in, boom, pops up. I see it. As soon as I see it, I'm like, my eyes light up. I'm like, I'm like, yo, the price tag went from like $250 to 10 grand. Yes, they were like, and they wanted like points. They want just because I showed excitement, and I've never seen another DARQ logo since. And that's, you know, told me to kick rocks. My manager was like, I told you not to show that. Yeah, because you gotta be Joe Toy. Because the moment you show excitement,
you gotta shut down.
Now they want it.
That's when they come up with their price, literally.
Literally,
and that's why you got to understand the art of negotiation. You know, I learned because I thought, you know, because I was told that when you go get a license to run your station, that it was X amount of dollars. And I was like, I don't have that. And then I met somebody else who said, go do it anyway. Go to the table. He was like, you negotiated selling meeting rooms.
Yeah,
I saw you.
Dude, that's a real thing.
You know
that's
what I mean?
a real thing.
Well,
like
I did that job, you know.
Yeah,
and he's like,
facts.
I seen you. And this is an old friend of mine. He said, I seen you sell a meeting room, an empty room to a company.
Yeah.
If you don't go in there and negotiate what you're gonna pay for your license, he's like, I'm gonna punch you. I was like, you know what? Since you're violent, I'm gonna go try this out. And lo and behold, you know, I was able to negotiate my entire situation. And I think that's one of the things we don't think about without, because don't you already know I was excited, but I don't have nobody to be excited too. I can be excited to you now because I know you get it. Like, all right, but who do we, you know, it's like we get that feeling like, oh my God, that's the one. I was hyped. Like the way I got set up, listen. You said when you seen it, you was hyped for me. So just imagine how I had felt, but I couldn't put it out.
When I saw that though, I see everything behind it. Like,
you know, the work.
So when I post that up and it says 45 spins in the streets radio, and people would just look like I'm excited about 45 radio spins for this 45, song.
Yeah,
I am not. That is not what that post is about whatsoever. That is about Apple Music certified radio station, and my sis runs it, and I'm like, holy F, like, because now I know all, there's no smoke and mirrors behind that.
No,
I know that's 45 legit spin.
I'm paying you. I'm paying for your music, and that, you know, and I tell people that, like, I pay out my pocket. I don't got no back end.
When I sent you the bed and I sent you the song, I was like, you know, I was like, did you get it? You know, you were like, I'll pass it to my people. And you were like, yeah, but you're in the system and went right through go. I was like, everything okay, cool. Right through. And I was like, all right, now I don't know when I'm going to be played. So, so it was like, but it was mad weird. But even something else I want to say though, about the last question you asked me. For me to do this, I want to teach artists. So if the artist isn't the person that I'm teaching,
you like me, no.
I don't want to do it.
No.
So, and I mean that there's no artists want to delegate. They rather pay somebody to get it done. But no, you're not going to pay me to do it without understanding why you're going to do it. And I think that that is, I'm not like, for instance, my man shot, like he hit me up. He's like, yo, I was giving him breaking this down. Like, yo, this is what, and he was like, oh, I want to put you on my man. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Because I didn't have the conversation with you. I'm not having you. I had it with you.
Yes.
There's a reason why I'm telling you. Like, you're not going to pass me because you're already delegating and giving this to somebody else. If I teach them, I don't know that it's going to you. Right. I teach them and they could be doing this for 9 other artists. I'm not getting compensated for that. Exactly. You my man. I want you right. It doesn't mean that I want everybody else right. So
that's big though. And that makes sense.
You have to want this. In order to learn this, you have to.
You got to eat it. You got to sleep it.
You got to humble it.
You got to cut connections off that are not good for you. You have to let people go. You have to spend time alone. I've been alone for the last 5 years, literally. In here, you see my space all the way through. But I feel like I got four walls and a cat. For real. It's just like I'm just in here, you know, food on the shelf, like here go my snacks and my coffee. And I had to lock down and learn what I thought I knew. What I thought I knew. You know? So again, how you say that is so commendable because I run my entire business that way. As a consultant, if you're not the CEO of the company, do not send your assistant to learn. And no, I don't know. Yeah. I want to work with you.
Facts.
I think you need to know. And I treat each and every artist that I work with as the CEO of their company because you are. Facts. You are. It's business,
and it's the worst. And you need to allocate funds towards this, and it's not the pretty part, and that's what you're gonna lose. You lost already. So now it's even worse. So the heartbreak, see, because I want to work with elite artists. That's all I've ever been surrounded by. I see the potential when I'm like, yo, you're elite. You're, you know, this person has the ability to write songs for anybody or do this or, you know. But I know for a fact that in order for this to be done right, you're not going to put the year it's going to take into it. You're not going to find the information.
Work.
You're not going to put the work in. And then you're going to pick my brain and I'm going to give it to you and you're not going to do it correctly.
And then you feel like you wasted your time. Like, I hate talking to people and I'm just talking and a lot of people be like, oh, Nina, you don't be saying that because you're not worth talking to. Like, and I don't want to say that, but I'll be thinking it like,
Facts.
You're not worth talking to. You're not going to do it. I have a person in my life that I can give them all the secrets to the universe and they will never do anything with them.
That's also, there's actually a study behind that, because I actually dealt with this on Facebook. You told me a lot in my career that I didn't listen to, and when I was in New York, light bulb go. Oh, my sis Nina told me to do that.
We always talk, right?
Because you're not just receptible at that time. You know what I'm saying?
You have to be ready.
You have to be ready, and you have to be the person they're listening. That their voice. If you're not the voice that they hear, or they look at you and you don't
ready to hear your voice,
and that
they gotta be
ready to hear your voice.
I feel like part of my company, my consulting firm, is a discovery call. And, you know, to explain that, people say, oh, I call and I tell you what I need and then you research. No, that's not it. Absolutely not. I have a degree in psychology. First thing that we do is we connect. Is this person serious about what they say they want to get into? And if they're not, I tell them I'm not for you.
Yeah.
Because I want to see you. I wrote a book. I'll give it to you before you leave. My book says, and I feel like my book is the hustle and hack book, right? This hustle and hack can be applied to any type of business that exists. I don't care what you could be a stripper. Shout out to the strippers. I love y'all, because
I love y'all too. Big facts. You already know.
Like, it is what it is.
You know my spots. You already know.
But that's the thing. I don't care what kind of business you have. The same rules has to be applied, but you have to be ready. And 90% of the people that walk through this door are not ready to do the work.
So that's goes into DARQ, of who DARQ is. Like, I built my career on wanting to be the best rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to learn video. I didn't want to learn graphics. I was going to put everything into my bar work because I was going to be elite. You know what I'm saying?
You're going to be a lyricist.
So now, and that's 1999, DARQ. I've always had that mind frame.
Right
now, we're talking 2023, where all of that matters. You have to shoot content, learn how to edit. I never wanted to do a fucking graphic.
You're a whole record label now, right?
Like, I didn't want to learn how to do a graphic, but when I came back with my catalog, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you know, I need 400 graphics." And they're like, I ain't
got 400 graphic money.
They're like, the best we could do is $18 a piece. And I'm like, 18 times 1, that's 3,000. Yeah, no, we gonna learn today. Canva, shout out my man Fisher for giving me that gem.
Adobe Photoshop.
Then I got the AI. Listen, my graphics look like a kindergarten was doing them. And now I get paid to do graphics. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Now I got another skill set in there. I didn't want to do graphics. There's no part of me that wants to do graphics. There's no part of me wants to deal with customers.
I don't like doing anything at all. If I could just stay in the house and drink wine, I'd be happy.
Facts. But now it's into that. So, but for me, being the best at learning is what I always knew I was gonna win against other artists. Not about being white. It's not about colors. Not about none of that. It's I was gonna do what the next artist wouldn't. I built my career on that. Like, I'm going to do what you're not going to do. Exactly. So what you think you're too good for, I'm going to do. I'll stand out on the block and perform all day. I'll walk around with a whole performance kit and stand in the middle of Rittenhouse Square, put a whole live performance on. Stand on top of benches, walls.
You got to be ready at all time. You got to be ready not only to do it, but to pivot.
Yeah.
Am I on a stage? You know, I've done shows, as you know, and people get up and they're gonna do their mixtape or mixtape type song, and it's the same joint I'm doing, and then I gotta flip the script on them. So now I gotta go up and freestyle. We're not even using the beat. Turn that off.
Yeah,
I'm going in like this now, like word for word. But this is why you gotta be great, not good, but great at what you do.
And that's what you have to. That's the energy you have to put into learning the back end.
Absolutely,
because you can't go in, you can't approach it like, all right, here's the thing. Like, I have a picture and it shows you like the 6 steps. It was the 6 companies. And I went in and just started learning but I went into a hype. I drank my cup of coffee, 5-hour energy.
All day.
I was like, all right, this is what we're going to do, team. Like, and I had to approach it like I was writing a song, because when you start going down, it's all alien. And then all of a sudden the alien starts.
And then it changed because these companies are currently actively growing and changing and modifying what was yesterday. By the minute. I'm in tech.
COVID did that.
Well, even before COVID, I've been in tech for 23 years.
The change though, the change since COVID, the rapidness of the change,
because they had to.
There was so many people sitting at home.
COVID woke people up. COVID was like, see, I've been in tech for so long that we're like, we back in, we didn't redeveloped it already.
Yeah.
Where, as a developer, I changed. I showed you yesterday. The station yesterday is not the station that it is today.
Nope.
Literally, like I rebuilt it last night. You know what I mean? Like I'm building something else already. And I tell people this, my entire company is based on technology. It's all tech. I don't care. Even the radio station is all tech.
Facts.
I talk algorithm, you know. So when my other personality is the Matrix. I'm not talking about the character. I'm talking about the zeros and ones. I'm really the Matrix. And we have to have that same dedication to understanding who I am, what am I willing to put into it, and then the sacrifice, because the sacrifice is everything. And I ain't talking about the Illuminati people. I'm talking about the sacrificing. Yes, you're going to lose your spouse momentarily if they're not 100% invested in what you're doing. Yes, your girlfriend's going to go cheat because you don't spend no time with her because you need to learn this. Yes, your mom is going to say you got real expensive hobby, you need to get your life together. I mean, we've gone through these things, you know, and I think that these are some of the things that we have to not only, like, when we're developing these artists and we're sitting, when I'm developing an artist,
we have to tell them what they're prepared.
This is what you need to get
what they're going to say.
My boyfriend calling me and he want me to do this. Is why, you know, a lot of people say you should be writing for these female artists. I don't know a female artist, and this is real, and I'm gonna say it out loud. I don't know a female artist that's 100% in the work mode. She can rap, she cool, but she distracted. I don't do distractions. You know what I mean? I'm autistic. I'm like, I'll be like, boom. They be like, you all right? I'll be like, no, I'm good. All this getting done. You have to have a certain level of focus. You have to be ready to sacrifice. You have to be ready to pivot. You know what I mean? And I think we all get stuck because we're artists too. And those creatives are the creatives.
And that's the thing, like, that's why I think that's why I prefer to build artists that haven't the brand new. Like, give me an artist that's 17. That hasn't done nothing fresh. Like, give me fresh. Busy, because if you've been jaded and collect, like, this person got me and I'm not dealing with none of that. I don't want to hear. I
don't even want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Right. I don't care. Get what you need. You know what I'm saying? And do what you got to do, because at the end of the day, it's going to affect me, and I'm going to sit around waiting on you. And the moment that I feel like I have to sit around waiting, and I move on. I
don't even want to work with you no more. I'm working with somebody right now. Shout out to them. That I told him, if you're serious about it, yes, I will help you. And I'm not even going to charge you. I'm going to help you. But I knew. Let me tell you why I offered my time, because I knew they weren't coming.
But see, and that's the part of me that I did this so my brothers would be good. My sister, like my fam would be good, so nobody can ever get us again.
Absolutely,
that's what I did this for.
We've been robbed.
God's work. We've been robbed enough. Yeah. Like, so there's my spiritual that wants to help everybody, like do it right, but I can't. You got to show me.
That tells me that you get it now. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of people who know a lot of stuff, but they're still out there. They want to create a workbook. They want to create a sheet. They want to do a podcast talking about all of this. They want to do that.
I know what it takes.
I told you what this podcast is about. Yes, we're going to talk about it. We're going to address those things. We're going to get into it. But am I going to sit with somebody one-on-one and say, oh yeah, I'll teach you the business? No, I don't got time for that, because I'm still making records. I got 5 albums I'm getting ready to drop.
Me too.
Facts. to sit and try to coach you through this, like, I really don't. It's just not there.
Even when people like for instance, my project, shout out Ignited, right? I just dropped that. I waterfall that. I dropped 6 singles and then put a 7-song project out. The project had the last song on it.
That's
you know what I'm saying? And then every day I'm dropping music. Every day I'm dropping something more revamped.
So let's talk about that waterfall. How does I think a lot of people don't understand how
beautiful
that works.
So the way I didn't know it. I did it by accident. So my 100 songs, I needed to get reconciled.
We'll talk about 100 songs later.
Yeah, 100 songs. It's always 100 songs. It has to be. So getting them reconciled, claimed, encoded, ISRC, getting all the info. I was putting them up, pulling them down. Get all the business on, because now's not the time for that song. You know what I mean? So there's the basic the way the waterfall works is you put a single out. Right, and then you work that single. You know what I'm saying? Like you get momentum,
and working the single is literally saturating the internet, saturating the people, the community, making sure people are familiar with that single.
Exactly. So I had a different approach. I was gonna put out all my songs, my 100 songs, And then I was gonna see what I wasn't gonna put no promotion into them.
Mhm.
No, I wanted to see what the algorithm was gonna
You
catch.
want to see the organics.
So I wanted
right.
to see what my fan base,
Mhm.
get my fan base back. So when I came back, I lost all my social media, got hacked. It was
Oh, that was fun.
yeah, that was fun. So I had to restart all that. So what I did with the waterfall was I put out shout out my boy Elus on this particular project. He produced 7 songs for me. So the 5 I put 6 out right away. So I did the Caught in Traffic where I'm like up and down like the stock exchange.
Right.
I actually did a promo for that and it didn't do numbers.
Okay.
But the other 5 that he produced all hit 10 grand immediately. 10K, like they all caught algorithm. So I was like, okay, they're loving the music I do with him. So now I know who I'm going to get produced by. So now I'm, but he's also a producer that less than 40 words to make a record. Keep it under a minute and a half. Like he understood.
He knows how to work the algorithm.
How to do the algorithm. His artist is doing phenomenal. Shout out Bianca, doing great. So basically, I had 1 song left that he didn't produce. So then I put all the singles out and I just let them go. Then I took down 2 of the singles and put up an EP with the same songs. Now you put the EP up with 3 or 4 songs.
Right.
And then you take down the singles.
Yep.
So the numbers transfer to the EP because you're using the same ISRC.
Exactly.
Now the EP is it's like a new release.
Yep.
So now I released a new song with the EP. So I did that. And then I re-released the singles again. Because now I'm toying with it.
And people are looking for them.
People are looking for just a single. Then I dropped the LP, which was 7 songs.
Okay.
Then I removed the EP, the singles, and then now I have everything on 1 track. This particular project, so I did 400,000 on Spotify. He's responsible for 1/3 of my streams. Now he's not the biggest producer in the world, but he understood.
He knows algorithm.
So I had to learn how to, you know what I'm saying? And this was all covers being done wrong, misspellings, like just
too many words.
You know,
that's one of the things, just being in tech, being a tech leader. And, you know, I speak on tech and how it works. And, you know, I'm an expert in generative AI. So, you know, having people understand, you know, what that all means and what the algorithm is. The algorithm is who you're actually talking to. It's the behavior behind it. You know, my degree is in behavior analysis.
Yeah, and
it's literally that how it works is literally that's it. Computer science and behavior analysis.
So my degree is business marketing and human behavior is my
same thing. It's literally the same thing. And that's one of the things to be able to put that in the perspective of what we do is fun.
Facts.
That's why you can stay interested.
Facts.
Because it's now fun. We didn't know this back then.
Yeah,
it's like, oh snap!
There's
I can put
really no rules. There's no rules.
Because what I tell artists when they submit their music to the station, you control how many spins you get. Yes, I'm going to add you to this playlist, but you control because that playlist is still on the station. So if your song is popping and people want to hear it, then the algorithm's going to pull it out and play it all day long. That's how the algorithm works. It's not about me.
Out of my 100 songs, I've only had 2 that the algorithm fed on its own. Where I knew that this song and this song, and I watched it. Then once you understand the graphs and all that, that's a whole nother monster.
Yes.
Like understanding what they mean. And
what you're looking
like
at.
You could literally, when I saw Heartbreak Hotel, that's the song I had out, which I named it that on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a song that I was like naming it after something else. You know what I'm saying? Smart, like back in the day,
you're gonna get
Napster type things.
Yeah,
like
you're going to get that audience.
And then when people are like, oh, that was a great idea that you named it that. And they were like, yo, you shouldn't. That's not even the
Why you think I'm Nina Capone?
Yeah, there you go. So then I watched it though. But then being able to see it like, holy shit, this is about to bubble. Like, then it was the songs that didn't bubble. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when I release it, I don't know what the people are going to like. I could do this dark characters. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
My AKAs, like that's DARQ RAW, Durango RAW. You know what I'm saying? Tommy Egan, I'm him. Like it's every aspect, every different part of DARQ is going to be liked by somebody. Awesome. You know what I'm saying?
There's a song for everybody.
There's a song for everybody. So, you know, the songs with me and Amy passing away, DNA Project, like we heard, I made timeless music.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So there's people that cherish that will just keep them in playlist.
Amy had a fan base.
Amy had a fan base. So, and her and I made great music. So So that's where it comes along. And then once you just bring it all together, and that's what I was able to do with Spotify. Apple and Amazon did the easier ones, because as long as you're promoting Apple Music,
you just got to work on those.
You just got to work on
those. Yeah.
But it's not as much work
as
Spotify.
Spotify is a science.
It's a science.
But I'm going to say that Spotify is the tech. And I didn't realize it. I'm guilty of. I'm so involved in so much other tech, and and then I really got distracted over the last 5 years because I wanted to build out the ultimate tech radio station. And then of course, I'm like, it don't exist. I thought it did. I was like, oh yeah, because I'm a pull from this. I pulled from multiple platforms to build what I have. And then we're looking at, like, when people say, oh, I heard of that, and you ain't hear about it like that. Even they call me and say, how did you do this? Because it's all about integration. You got to know how to integrate. And I'm scientifically, this is what I do technology wise, but we also got to understand artists as a whole. If you're going to be an independent artist, you have to understand the algorithm and how it works. What do I feed it? Because the algorithm is your manager now. It's your promoter, it's your manager, it's your director, it's every single thing, because the algorithm is what pushes your music out. It's not a person.
If you put a project out and it didn't do well, pull it down. Put it back up.
Put it back up.
Put it back up. Look at the timing.
I'm putting a record out now because of the timing, because of the music that I'm listening to right now, and then what's being talked about far as in the news and things like that. It's the perfect time. It's the perfect time. I want to put this project out. If you have a song
about politics right now, you will put it out. Wow.
I just put a guy on my page. Shout out to Yellow something. I'm gonna mess his name up, but I just blasted him. I put him in a newsletter. I put his song in rotation, and I put him in it because he's explaining the 4 levels of politics, and it's the perfect time to be listening to this right now because it's super educational. I'm like, all right, I didn't even know that. You know what I mean? So his song, and I looked and I said, okay, this song is old, but it's now. It's right now. And I'm going to highlight him on a radio station because he was ready. He was ready. Whenever he did this, he was ready today. So we put him in rotation. And my whole thing is just putting the right songs in because the algorithm's going to do the work. The algorithm is going to do the work. People say, well, when am I going to be played? I don't know. That's up to you. On my station, I'm not sitting there DJing my station. Like when I tell DJs, I put the DJs on. Actually, nothing a DJ do on my station counts towards anything except if they bring some traffic to hear them, because I'm a internet-based technology station.
Exactly. So
it's
during their, but you're not. Whatever they do inside their sets on them.
It's on them. No control, no real nothing. Because what happens is we can't even really count those spins. This is why I tell people to make sure, because if most songs aren't coded that they give to the DJs. So if you give it to the DJ and it's not coded, we're not even going to read it. And then depending on where the DJ is DJing from, because we have virtual DJs who know how to sign into our station and do it properly, and then we have some who don't know how to do that yet. Therefore, those songs, the DJ can play you all day, but it's not. This is why I tell people, send me your song, because even though we may throw you in a mix, you're still getting plays here.
Which is beautiful.
And the algorithm is going to play it. If the algorithm knows that the DJ is playing you in their set, they'll automatically pick up and this is a good joint, because 3 DJs is spinning it. The algorithm will say, hey, I'm going to spin it too, because the algorithm is a hater.
Exactly. True. Algorithm is a hater,
right? It's like,
definitely.
Like, I know where to put it.
Listen, and what I've learned too, though, is the caps. Like, that's where I'm trying to, because they know how to cap the algorithm too. And I've seen a lot of people. I'm reading more about that now. I haven't done numbers high enough to be capped.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I fear that. You know what I'm saying? To be able to control that, like the powers to be.
Okay. So when we create an algorithm, like a lot of somebody argue me up and down there. Oh, they're not created. Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are.
I know. I write them. So the algorithm is literally a command. So when I put my command prompts in, yes, I control my algorithm in a way. So one of the things I control behind the scenes is playing an artist too much.
Okay.
So no, I don't do repetition in artists. So we have 360 minutes before you're played again.
Okay.
Okay. So that's a little control of the algorithm, and that's beneficial to not just the artist but to the listener.
Which
so
I actually see that in my Apple Music analytics now that you brought that up.
Absolutely.
I'm like, I'll see it. I literally watch. I'm like, okay, they played me this time. I'm like, all right.
Absolutely. So you'll start to see that pattern. So I do personally build out the patterns. No, I don't push the music out and say when it's going to play, but I build out the patterns. I would never want you to be oversaturated, because then you get turned, we lose listeners, because now all we're hearing is dark, like he cool. So you can do that by artist, or you can do it by song title.
Absolutely.
I personally do it by artist, because I'm like, if I got first of all, I shouldn't have 5 whole songs playing dark. That's insane. That's
too much.
Payola at this point. Like, he must be giving her a check.
Yeah, facts.
So we have to be mindful of how we program the stations as well. So there's a lot of control that goes in. Yes, we have to do that. The beauty of it is that you have a lot of control too. So if you were to go on every time and say, okay, my song like it's about to be played, or I'm playing my song, or it played, because if you go to the website, you can see that it just played. Hit the thumbs up, hit the heart. Guess what? It gets you back in rotation again.
Comments, all that.
Because we can't actually control
engagement.
That. Yeah. The engagement forces
the algorithm.
The algorithm, and the algorithm like, well, my hands was tied.
That's what I've learned about the social media. That's the piece that I think the most I would delegate social media management. I can't stand it, like, because that's what happens when you post on Instagram. You want those engagements quick, those comments quick, the likes, and every 5 comments opens you up to 5 other people, and you know what I'm saying.
It's
like,
funny.
Learning all that.
A digital marketing agency, and they're like, "Why your Joe's not popping like that?" I said, "Because I was just cheap."
Yeah,
honestly, I just don't even involve myself in it, because
it's a whole nother. It's a whole nother. Like, I don't have the time for it.
I don't.
Like, I went into my Instagram and I cleaned everything out and I repurposed.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of those videos from old performances, I'm like, repurpose this.
All the time.
Like,
at the end of the day, that's the thing.
CapCut's the greatest thing in the world. Like, it's the easiest edit to
okay.
Pull this down, edit this, clip this. I make it look like it's brand new.
That's it.
And it's and that's the thing. It's the same thing with a song. If a piece of content doesn't work, pull it down. Repurpose it.
Repurposing. When I meet with my team and on Monday mornings, and we're talking about our clients, and we deal with a lot of business clients, not necessarily music, but business clients, we do the same thing. It's the same thing. It's like, okay, we have to control the algorithm here, or the algorithm changed. The rule, and saying the algorithm changed, and people are like, oh, the algorithm keep changing. The rules are changing, because now as media companies, we have to be more mindful. One, the biggest reason, I'll just give you the number one reason, is because we pay out of our pocket. We're paying for the advertising. There's companies paying us to do this advertising as platforms. So my advertisers on my radio station, they're paying me to run this ad.
Yeah.
So they want to be behind a song that's getting that's popping. So we have to make sure ad placement is right. So there's so many different things that gotta go into. I own an advertising agency, a consulting firm, and a marketing company. People say, well, is it advertising and marketing the same? No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not even close.
All different monsters.
Right. So dealing with the advertising side is less challenging. It's the most profitable, as you know, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, because you can't mess that up.
Facts.
Because you charging real numbers. You charging for real. You like, all right, this is a check. Forget everything else. Put everything else on hold. Now the marketing per se, consists of a group of things that you got to do. And people come in and say, I want marketing, and then they'll tell me, I just want this. Like my station, we provide SEO. We're doing SEO. So if I post you, understand that you're going to show up in the search engines now, because I actually invest in SEO to the station. It's not just, every artist that's on my station is being optimized in the search engine. And this is a whole nother thing. And this is why I say, they be like, well, I deal with such and such station. I'll be like, okay, I'm not in competition with them. I deal with them too. Like,
facts.
You know what I mean? Like, and this is why I say everybody right now should be working together, because the more the merrier. They're not gonna run out of money to pay you to do a thing.
Preach.
I
preach this all day long.
This is the thing. This is how it needs to happen. And then, for the station, we're looking to, I personally look for sponsorships. I don't look, necessarily to charge the artist, but I want to hire artists. I want to hire artists to, one, develop them. because they need to know how to do everything this station does. They need to understand how it works in order to be successful as an artist.
Yep.
Then there's money that you're leaving on the table. Sync licensing. You know how many companies begging
Dude, that's the way.
right
that's
now.
The way for all independent artists.
Everything I do right now is being placed in a movie. Every song is going to a movie, right? Or a commercial.
Show
so
some type.
Then we got customers that come in and say, I need a jingle. You know how many customers come in my office and say, I need a jingle for this and that? And I'm like, okay, I do own a radio station. I should probably be able to find somebody. The problem is, we go back to the beginning of this conversation. Artists don't have their stuff right for me to even present you as a jingle writer. So now I know what I'm going to have to do is now sign you.
Yep.
Because if I'm going to do all this work, I'm going to have to sign you under my either my publishing or one of my companies to manage you as a jingle writer, because to present you, all your paperwork got to be right.
Correct. Before you can even have the conversation.
And these are major companies, major brands. So, you know, and it's really, so I'm between a rock and a hard place, but I feel like Industries Radio is going to be the leverage to educate artists and give them jobs. Because why are you broke and you a writer? You write songs and you don't have no money? I can't put 2 and 2 together. That don't make sense. So now if I can take Industries Radio and hire you as whatever, right? And this is your title. So now a job come in. Somebody call, hey, yeah, I'm wondering if I could get, I need marketing. Okay, you need marketing. We look at your marketing as a whole. Here's the campaign we're gonna do. DARQ, what's up? All right, working on a campaign. I need 3 songs. This type. They only need to be a minute and 12 seconds long because this is what we're using them for. These are jobs that pay very good money.
And there's tons of companies that have those they're like put out one ads. Like
exactly. And they don't know how to find, they don't know how to get in touch with you and I. They know me now. They be like, hey, we gotta fly you here, get you here. But it's so much money in here. But again, if your paperwork, if your business is not right, you can't work for these companies. I said Industries Radio will be the portal to get you to, to bridge the gap. Artists with DJs,
and then you hear and it's tricky too because they all have different rules.
All of them
have different rules,
and that's why you should be under some kind of agency that understands.
Because even they want you to, most of them want you to have 100% control. Not even if you don't own 100% of it, they want you to be able to be the person that speaks on behalf of the whatever song. Like you know what I'm saying, you need 100% creative to speak on it. So
you can't have a producer who's saying it doesn't work like that when you're doing commercial advertising campaigns.
And then music libraries are real big right now. You know what I'm saying? I know a couple people that are using, they're developing music libraries. You know what I'm saying? Where they have full acts, full reign,
because that's what we buy from. I can never I know a lot of producers. I can't go to my producers and be like, oh yeah, I'm working on this campaign, give me a give me a beat. It don't work like that. I have to go to the music library, pull out what's there, then we work with that,
and then we send them and we gotta hope they get played.
Exactly.
But it's good though and people don't even realize they might pick your song and they hold it for that, and then they don't use it, you still get paid.
If
If they hold it up, because they don't want you sending it to nobody else during that time frame.
They pay you to sit still,
which is
phenomenal. As a consultant on retainers, it's
phenomenal.
That's
the best way you can do it
ever.
That's the best way you can do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't went overboard, but it's good. I think this is excellent.
Facts.
So first, I want to thank you for coming out and spending time with me today. I appreciate it. Of course, we just shared a lot, you guys, a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. If you miss any of the beginning of this, please tune back in later because it's a lot. We're going to drop some clips. Getting people to the channel. We gotta do this again because we got a lot more to talk about.
Well, we in season 2. This episode 1. This is the start of your story.
That's it.
And I'm a part of your story. You're a part of my story.
Absolutely.
This history, HK for life. You already know. Download that Ignited, Spotify, Apple Music, all that.
Tell them where to find you on
at DARQ RAW, DARQ RAW, everything. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's at DARQ DARQ on all streaming platforms. Money Dance Bag Talk drops September 20th. 2024. So new project, Look out for that. I'm excited about it. Shout out everybody, and shout out my sister Nina Capone, and shout out my man Brinks.
Thank you.
It's definitely checking with him because yeah, facts. That's definitely an industry white boy right there.
Absolutely.
So, but holla at your boy. You already know it's the black sheep of the family, but the whitest one here. And I love you, sis. I'm so proud of you.
Love you too. Thank you so much, y'all. We out. It's the Respect the Hustle, and I will see y'all on the other side.
Respect the Hustle. In the Streets Radio.
Got it.
I was like, yeah, we definitely win.